Thanks, I'll come in. No, that's... Right. Yeah. You've got a time to scratch it. That's how I'm going to try that pocket. You'll come over there. Oh, yeah. There. See that building with that? Oh, yeah. Just past that light. Next to the boozer? Yeah. Next to the boozer. Behind the cars over there? Yeah. Your case, it's in the girls' home, bro. I didn't think you should come here. Who are you on?
Easy legs, legs real quick, fellas. Legs, 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 legs. What number's 5? 3. He's already missed 3. What's that?
Huh?
Back. Forwards inside. I didn't bring the boys and girls?
Nah, mate.
Right, in our lines, 4 lines here on the red. Jordan sharp with me, they're on the footies. Out to me, out to the back of the phone. Set them up, you ready, girls? 3 quick steps. Yeah, get it.
Grab that footy.
Come on. Push, push, slide out, come on.
Get him up.
3 quick steps. Push, push.
Right, good.
Oh, you do them under the beer. Come on. Get him, Richie. Come on. Out, out, out. Low in the turn, low in the turn. 2 reps, 2 reps. Come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
Push, should we push?
Yeah.
Good.
He's a couple for it.
Let's go, let's go. Now, get it, move. Yes. Come on, you ready for it? Get up for it, fellas. Let's go. Come on. Stay up. Now.
That's why I took off real quick and got in here. You had the bleacher on. With that shielded with you was going
Press the run, building up. Build. Accelerate, get it. Need to be hitting those speeds, fellas. Hit those speeds. Build up to the hearts. Build up to the hearts. 2 reps here, then you're on the footies, guys. Build. No speed. In our lines now.
What do you reckon it'll be like at Yumba? Well, they haven't been on the ground since then. No, Whoever wins today goes into the first spot. There's only a top 4.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Win the sport, you're in trouble. That was gone in the first quarter. Yeah. What was it? 4 inches. They didn't kick a goal in the first quarter.
They have scored in this last story.
Yeah.
By 2 points. Yeah, last quarter.
They're going to have ball. They're going to have ball. Yeah.
Good Jackson.
Someone wrote up that they shouldn't pay.
If I don't hear boys, I'm not going like
Franklin, pay him, signing up for the Sun. Let Tino go and bloody learn off him, drop him back to the boots and Franklin build bloody Kingy up. And then have him as a forward in about 3 years old. Yeah, that's right. How they missed the house, you know, as part of their job from 30 metres out. And he said,
Good afternoon and welcome to Skybus Oval. I won't leave
Good afternoon and welcome to live TSL action. A massive clash here in round 16 between the Lauderdale Bombers and Clarence Roos. There is very little between these two sides on the ladder at the moment. Today looming as a defining day in the season. And both these clubs push for finals. A must-win clash for both sides. I'm Andrew Cooling, calling the action this afternoon, and joining me for the big occasion, a big man, Damien Gill. Welcome to the call.
G'day, Andrew. What a pleasure to be with you. And yeah, you've put it really accurately off the top when you say little between them. To be exact, we're talking about two teams that have played 13 games, both on 28 points apiece, and both with a percentage of 113. The difference being Lauderdale have a percentage of 113.88 and Clarence have a percentage of 113.50. So the difference between these two teams so far in the season is wafer thin. So today basically shapes up as an elimination final virtually, Andrew, and I'm very, very excited to see what they bring to the table. Yeah, especially Clarence, a massive 2 weeks because they've got the Northern Bombers next week as well, so a really big fortnight coming up. If they split them 1-1, they'll be in the mix. Win them both, they're going to be in. Lose them both, it's probably curtains. So it starts today up against a Lauderdale team. They've played twice this year already. Beat them the first time around in a close one. The second time, Lauderdale, pretty comfortable victors in the end. And that's kind of summed up Lauderdale's season for me. They've probably got the highest ceiling. Their ceiling's been outstanding, but the consistency hasn't really been there. So it's perhaps a question of which Lauderdale side's actually going to rock up here today. Hard to argue with you. And I was at the first encounter between these two sides, and I reckon about 3/4 through the game, you were backing Lauderdale, no question. They were in control of it, and it just slipped from their fingers. And Clarence are a team that when they get their tail up, they're hard to stop. They play that fast, free-flowing footy. They take the game on, and they've been really impressive this season under Peter Ryan. I think a lot of people thought they would slump this season after a good year last year, but credit to Peter Ryan at the helm. He has got the best out of his charges this year, and on that occasion they bested Lauderdale down here at Lauderdale. They're going to need to repeat the dose today, as you say, as we march ever closer to September.
Yeah, we've seen some really good performances from Lauderdale at times. Beating Launceston obviously shows what they're capable of. No one's got near them this year, and they blitzed them that day. So we know what Lauderdale's capable of. They love that contested style of game. They might have an edge there. Clarence, as you say, we want to freewheel it, get it out in the space, get the ball quickly to a man who I think looms every time Clarence plays the key. That's Colin Garland. He's a guy who can kick you 6 goals and can win a game of football off his own boot.
No question, he's the man, isn't he? Colin Garland in terrific form this season. So, yeah. I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, I reckon last time they played, he might not have even, in terms of the first encounter when they won, I'm not sure Colin suited up, and they still found a way. So, he's going to be the one they're going to have to keep a really close watch on, Lauderdale. But you look at names on paper and you look at home ground advantage, and it leads me to think this is one that Lauderdale, under coach Dan Willing, should be able to get done to ensure they march on into finals. But if they let this one slip, equally as we just spoke about what's on the line for Clarence, if they let this one slip, then all of a sudden they're vulnerable. So just so much riding on today's encounter. It's a bit hard to underplay it.
Yeah, and certainly you mentioned the tightness of percentage between these two. You've got North Launceston also 7-6. They're only 112.1, so they're 1 percentage point off. We're talking about a couple of goals in games here over 20-odd game season, and a late goal in a random match could be the difference between teams at the moment.
Oh yeah, spot on. Massive encounter, and I can tell you can tell when it's Lauderdale and Clarence at Lauderdale, because you'll see in the back of these shots how many cars are crammed into the tip. They come out when these two teams collide, and even without all that's riding on today's occasion, it's always a really good day on the calendar when Clarence plays Lauderdale. So very much looking forward to this one as we prepare, as players get into position, and as we say, it's a pretty simple equation really. Both teams need this victory.
Yeah, massive encounter this afternoon. Who is going to take it out? We see Sam Siggins putting himself in the ruck. He will go up against Sam Green to begin this one. Siggins, a very versatile player. They can deploy him anywhere, and he's more than capable rucker as a forward. But all in readiness here at the tip for this absolute blockbuster. Pump for this one, run away, and it's Siggins who gets first use. Handballs it over the top, was looking for Marlin, got taken away from him though. In his pattern, he's wrapped up, all up. So the ground looking in pretty good condition. That was probably going to be a question mark over this one heading into the game. Seemed to be a bit of a bog at times, but looks pretty good today as Christensen gets it. Wrapped up by Baxter Norton, and we'll have another ball up.
You touched on Siggins. If he's not the best player in the comp on form, he's in the top couple. He, as much as Colin Garland looms large for Clarence, he looms especially large for Lauderdale, and he takes this one out of the ruck. Kicks forward. He's looking for Richmond. He's going to get a free. No, it's going to go the way of the Roos, and it'll come out through Paprotny. He steers into the arms of Green, out on a lead. So Green assesses options inside. Goes back to the half-back, and it'll be Keegan Wiley. Had a good year, Keegan Wiley. Provided a lot of that dash for the Roos. Or bounce, shall I say, as he goes long down the line. Pack forms, really good grab taken. And that's young Cam Owen. He opts to handball it along. Rainbird now, steers it further, back from Preshaw. Owen now, off for Rainbird. They're hemmed in nicely by Lauderdale. This kick coming from Preshaw. Draws a crowd. Ryan was interfered with, so we get a free kick.
He just propped himself in front there, waited for the contact and got it a 3-on-1, so a little sloppy from the Bombers conceding the free kick there.
He's had a good year, young Keegan Ryan as well. He drops this one off the long booming kick of Keegan Wiley, who goes long towards the square. really well done. In best position was Ollie Preshaw, just bodied the defender and really just took it gleefully in his lap.
Yeah, chest mark in the end, just kind of threw Oscar Shaw aside and said, well, thank you very much. So should be the first goal of the game here.
Ollie Preshaw marches on in. Should be easy, and he threads through the opener for the Clarence Roos, and they get the ideal start.
Comes and misses a surf on me.
He wouldn't go down and follow Norfolk because his old girlfriend's up here. So he said, whenever he's here, so you better come down here.
So perfect start for the Roos here, Gilly, controlling the ball quite nicely, taking marks. It's going to be the way they look to do it, and they get the first goal from their first look. Green up against Siggins. Siggins has been absolutely monstering him so far, but Green will get the clearance for the Roos. He fought on nicely. Lucky we're able to get him at ground level as the intercept mark is taken by Ed Stanley. Dropping back into the hole there. Stanley, the defensive 50, head towards the wing. Spoil came from Paprotny. Punches it decisively out in front of that sea of cars, as you've mentioned, Gilly. A good crowd in for this one. Why not? Two teams with disdain for each other and high stakes. So it portends well for what should be a very enjoyable afternoon. Just taking a sweet old time getting the ball back to the umpire here. Eventually, so Siggins has had his way with Green in the first three ruck contests. Took it out of the ruck himself twice. The third one just held him off and palmed it down. Can he do it again? Green reaches over this time, but Siggins battles at ground level. Horsboom was in there for Clarence. Christensen immediately wrapped up. Baxter Norton all over him. Twice Christensen has taken possession. Twice Baxter Norton has been all over him like a cheap suit.
Yeah, not sure if that's a tight marking job, but he's certainly all over him as Siggins has his way in the ruck again. Christensen pouncing on it with a little soccer along the ground, handballed inside. It's gathered by Marlin on the outside of his boot. He just gains distance. He'll trickle over. See a little bit of mud here, but not too bad. On that far side seems to be a bit boggy and a little bit left of screen, but broadly held up reasonably well given the weather we've had across this winter. The ball to come back in. Marlin doing the ruck work this time. Green beats him this time. Gathered by Franklin. Tried to squeeze out a handball. He was claimed. Another stoppage just in front of the Lauderdale coach's box. Marlin, I think, was in the ruck there. A bit hard to make out as Green chested someone else and then won the hit out. As gathered by Holmes. He gets to Rainbird. Just kicks for distance. Well gathered by the big man Owen. Drops it off for Cullinan. Slips through his fingers. Climbing on top of him was Patton. And he's pinged him. Very hot.
Red hot. Well, I guess he said you made no attempt, but geez, very harsh decision that one, I reckon. Anyway, the Bombers will take it from half back and they launch it forwards through the hands of Baker Smith. Impressive last week, as the week before us. This one swung into the forward line and Blackburn just unable to keep it in play. Bit of a territory battle going here early on. It's held up all right, but still a bit of a heavy deck and easy to move the ball by foot rather than running it perhaps. Is back into play. Hooker cast up against Owen this time. Owen won it down. Holmes getting a foot in. Patton, sizable bump there. It's towards the line. Everybody's flying in, but they're going nowhere productive, and the umpire will have it. We're going to have a lot of stoppages here today, do you, Gil?
Certainly feels that way. The game, it'll be contested in the trenches. Of course, Hayden Smith out of this Lauderdale side. It's worth noting, as you see Lennon Marlin contest. He was out in front. His little paddle didn't go too far.
Big body midfielder just kind of deputising for the ruckman.
See it a little bit, even at AFL level. The likes of Patrick Cripps having stints at times. Never sure about it as Owen brings it to the floor. And I think it'll be a Cullinan kick potentially. No, it's going the way of Bryce Walsh. So the Lauderdale Warrior kicks long and strong inside forward 50. His target he was looking for was Tilly. He's lost his footing and the ball skids out.
A tough sledding early on here. Opening 7 minutes. Clarence, the opening goal of the game. It's been the Bombers largely on the offensive since, but been hard to move the ball. As this one's again contested tight in the forward line, trying to bust through, but going nowhere. Good tackle from Rainbird. Just wrapping up Fergus Kenny as he tried to plough on through the contest. Marlon again nominating for the ruck up against Owen. Owen won that down nicely, flipped it into space. Teammate was there in Callanan. He flicks it, but that's turned over. That's a little high, and it's going to be a free kick going the way of Bombers. And it'll go the way of Ed Stanley.
A noted goal kicker at times, Ed Stanley. Generally pretty sharp inside 50. I reckon he kicked 6 goals in a final a few years back when Lauderdale made a run to a grand final.
He's certainly capable of kicking a bag, is Ed Stanley. We'll get a good idea of any potential win from this kick as he'll kick just inside the paint of 50. See how it carries. It's drifting, but just offline. I think it's going to sneak in. Not quite. Minor score their first of the day. 1 behind. Clarence 1 goal.
Not too many forward entries thus far, Andrew. That was probably their first or second, so it would have been great to get it on the board from a Lauderdale perspective. That's a terrific kick out. Finds Jacques Barwick. His kick nowhere near as good. Invites Bryce Walsh, who finds Christensen. Looks for the lead of Blackburn and finds it to perfection.
Yeah, it's just a bad error from Barwick on that occasion. He was hit up by a superb kick and then just turns one over. A brutal place to turn it over as he's transitioning and running forward. Just left 3 men everywhere, and the Bombers thought their way through it quite nicely.
They did. That's where you see the quality and experience of guys like Walsh, Christensen, able to assess their options and find Blackburn. His run-up's always an entertaining one to take in as he raises it to the heavens. Little skip.
50.
There's 50. I think he's missed it off the boot, so they'll be happy with that one, Lauderdale. I'm not sure what went on. It must have encroached.
Not encroachment from directly behind him or abuse behind him.
I tell you what, that is a gift if you're Stixie Blackburn, because he had his little raise to the heavens and the skips and he had the yips with the kick. It was a shocker, but he pokes it through. So lucks of fortune for Lauderdale. They take the lead here at the tip. A cagey start between these Eastern Shore rivals.
Looks like Mitchell Rainbird was the offending party there, so maybe he was just creeping up a little too close to the protected zone, sensing he was taking so long to run in, he might be able to get him from behind. He's kind of got the hybrid Ben Brown, Josh Kennedy, combine them together, goal-kicking routine there.
Yeah, let's call it for what it is. It's a bit of a mess.
Oh, look, it's
but
unique.
It's what
unique
it works for him, so...
Well,
I'm a big fan of Stixie. He's on the board. So back in the middle we are as Siggins helps himself once more. Kicks long, bouncing ball inside 50. Was gathered nicely on the outside of the boot by Fisher. Green claimed it, but it was off hands. So Callanan makes it someone else's problem, long and strong. It's a whistle. Garland keen to keep moving and be made to come back as it's a Lauderdale ball.
Poland from half-back just pokes one in the middle. It's a nice kick and they'll take off here with a little bit of dash through McGuinness. Sends them inside 50. Christensen the target. 3 roos back there. Mark was dropped though. Christensen handball. He found Blackburn. Stumbled though. Handball's back. Still a chance the Bombers. Now it's Hooker who sets sail for home and gets it badly wrong. And a let off there for the roos. It surely should have been a goal.
Yeah, it'd be a hard one in the coach's box, Stan Willing, because he would like the unselfish play, but that's one where I reckon Blackburn just needs to take the kick on himself.
Just lost his footing a little, didn't he? Thought I'll go the handball instead, but might have been better off driving from 30. This one's cleared, and spoil came from Hooker. And Mark not paid, so it'll be a throw in at half forward for the Bombers.
Just Wiley's a weapon for Clarence, the way he can get 60, 65 from his kick-ins, generally finds a target, and turn defence into offence pretty quickly. So we're back in the ruck contest again. Siggins wins it down once more. Walsh tries to steer it towards Fife. It's good to see Dylan Fife in the team today. I tell you what, Siggins is in red-hot form, isn't he? Just looks like taking every game apart every time I watch him. He wrestles here with Green. It's won by Holmes. Possibly in the back from Walsh, but umpire doesn't agree, so it'll be yet again another stoppage, and we're going to get good at calling these, Andrew.
Yeah, well, Siggins is certainly going to have his chance to stamp himself on this game because it's going to be a game dominated by the stoppages. And so far, he's dominating Green in these contests. Won it down, not a whole lot of distance, though. Green will get the ball, and Ben's one that tumbles along the deck 15 metres. Some slick hands there from Rainbird, and the Roos are away. They'll charge towards half forward now. Searching kick up towards the 50, and a good mark taken there by Ollie Preshaw. He wants to go. Dish the handball, gave it to Jack Callanan from 50. And he's offline to the right for a minor score only.
He will.
And moving the ball quite nicely at times, Clarence. Just every now and then it's breaking open away from these stoppages.
When they can get the open space and the overlap, they're a very attractive team to watch as Ed Stanley brings this one out. A pokey little ball. Finds the intended target. He'll receive it back. Over the top, he'll look for Marlon. Slips through his fingers. Paprotny off for Callanan, who's been pretty busy. Wiley with a little goose step. Inside ball looking for Rainbird. He was interfered with. No whistle coming. Easily finished off in the end. I think it was Howlett. So Clarence regained the lead, and that was again some sharp ball movement that brought it about, Andrew Cooling.
It was indeed. They are certainly moving the ball with a bit more purpose than Lauderdale. They're quite content just to try and gain a few metres in the trenches, keep working it down. Clarence transitioning and moving the ball with a lot more purpose. They take the lead here, and we spoke about some unselfishness at one end moments ago. Well, he would have wanted to kick that goal with Colin Garland just waiting over the top in the square, but no harm done as Howlett puts it through, and the Roos get their second of the day. And really been inside 50 a couple of times, so showing a pretty good efficiency. A game that's largely been between the arcs so far through the first 15. Siggins again, just having his way with Green, work this one across to Franklin. To half forward. Almost taking the mark. He's going to be paid on the mark with a free kick in the end with William Broomhall. He looks up, assesses the options, and then pokes one into the pocket. There's some numbers back there for the Roos, though. Take there. Back in the space on Baker Smith, I think.
Good player, young Baker Smith. It was the wrong lead, I think, from Blackburn on that occasion. This is punched down by Stanley and trickles over. Leading to the pocket, and that's where the Clarence numbers were. It was a terrific contest to see from young Will Broomhall before that, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did really well. And mark or free kick, whichever, he deserved it. He really fought hard. Siggins gets to the ball first, dished a handball off to Fife. Christensen taken high there by Keegan Ryan, just slipping up in the tackle there. So Christensen can send them inside 50. Just stands one up into space, almost taking the mark. Blackburn, he's got one over the shoulder though. And he's having an influence on this game early on, is Michael Blackburn.
He looks on, doesn't he? He looks on. The ball's in his vicinity. They want to kick it to him. Just needs to get this part right.
Scored one, set up an opportunity for another. Chance for a second here. We'll see the long run up once more. Which apparently I'm more of a fan of than Gilly is. We'll see.
I love stirring up Stixie Blackburn.
We'll see how he goes on this occasion. He did miss from slightly further out, but got that 50-metre penalty last time. Bit of an angle on this one. What can Michael Blackburn do? He comes in with that measured approach. It's bending back. He'd wheeled off in celebration the moment it left his boot. Don't even worry if that's sneaking home. He loved it. Michael Blackburn gets the Bombers second, and they reclaim the lead by a point.
We've got a game on our hands. I have a feeling this could be end-to-end all afternoon. And I love to see it where Stixie Blackburn wheels off before the ball's even in mid-air. I swear he was basically over the fence with the can bar is how excited he was. Yeah, terrific. Good character as part of this TSL competition. And he's on song today. 2 goals for Lauderdale, both through Blackburn, and we have a game. So Siggins, who's been dominant thus far, drops off a little handball. Walsh loves days like these. Carves his way through traffic. Kicking inside forward 50. Swatted away by Baker Smith. Gathered now by Marlin. He drops it off for Hooker. Fighting on hands and knees with Howlett. There'll be a stoppage inside forward 50 for the Bombers. See what Siggins does here. Gets front position, drops it to the floor. High tackle on Christensen. He's good at those.
He's got a couple early, hasn't he? He's just got that nous, that experience, knows where to get the body to, how to angle the body, and draws the high contact. Just experience from the former Geelong and Brisbane man.
Stanley wanted the little give, but Christensen looks in no hurry. He goes a pokey little inside ball. It falls short of Franklin. Franklin gets the kick horribly wrong, hits the wrong part of the boot, and it's out on the full. What a missed opportunity that could prove.
Sloppy in execution, wasn't it? I mean, the idea was right from Christensen. He had two men standing in the middle of the 50 arc, unmarked, as that ball's going to take some getting from somebody. But he just opted to drop it a little short, and then, yeah, horrible kick on the shot. So Clarence let off the hook a little there, as this one's in the direction of Fisher. Under pressure from Christensen, did nicely to mark it. Harry Fisher at half back. Sends it down the wing, looking for Howlett. Flew over his head, home sliding in. Kept him playing nicely. Then worked further afield, bent back quite nicely with the banana there, looking for a Loams. Spilt out the back there for Ollie Preshaw. He's got a man all alone in the square. Cole Garland just peels off behind the play, and Clarence go coast to coast and retake the lead.
Exceptional slingshot footy, wasn't it? And Colin Garland will love that, where he can just stand in the square and like shelling peas for a player like Colin Garland. Terrific stuff. And that's where they're a real threat, Clarence. When they can get on the outside and use their leg speed and move it quick with overlap handball. Terrific, terrific footy.
Fascinating game, this one so far. A real contrast of styles. And it's got Clarence slightly ahead, but I feel like we're in for a close one today.
We are indeed, as Siggins is out of the ruck contest now, as Richmond goes on board. He wins this one off to Marlin. Got a job to do as he was claimed in a tackle of Rainbird. Here's Preshaw, drops it off unconvincingly on the swinging boot of Baxter Norton. There's Howlett climbing on top of Stanley. A stoppage just on the edge of the square. Left of screen. It's off Richmond's hand, gathered by Rainbird. He drops it off to Harper. Harper from downtown, long booming kick wide and out to the right. So a minus score for the Roos.
Beautiful hands from Mitch Rainbird there, very slick. An even goal, the lead for the Roos in this one as the Bombers reload from full back and drive this one outside a defensive 50. Up towards the contest, Green was there, getting a hand into Fisher. Spills out in favour of the Bombers. Dylan Fife picked it up, didn't get much meterage though. Coughed it up straight to Harper. Harper heads off one, got it to the good user in Keegan Wiley, and again he shows his fine foot skills and just pokes it over the top where Kieran Howlett was lurking. Howlett looks to sell a little bit of candy. Fife trying to mow him down from behind. A floater of a kick works out beautifully for Keegan Ryan. Certainly wasn't his intent, but put it into dangerous areas and good things happen. And Ryan with a pretty regulation shot here.
He got himself in a spot of bother there, but was good enough to be able to use the left peg and square it back up. And Ryan, geez, he pounced on it. Read it really, really well, albeit a floater off the boot, as you say.
Read it nicely. So Keegan Ryan to extend the lead to 2 goals here. Clarence showing a pretty good efficiency going inside 50. Well, there's just the commentator because he's hung that one out to the right. That's a big let off there. A couple of misses here from the Roos in the last few moments.
Yeah, I'll be disappointed with that one. A golden look inside forward 50 as Poland brings it out of defence for the Bombers, looking for Tilly. He just runs out of tarmac. And by the look of his top, looks like he's been rolling around on tarmac. The mud in play down here at Skybus Oval, or the Tip as it's affectionately known. So Siggins back in the ruck. Down to the floor, Rainbird having an influence on this contest. He battles with Marlin, who sees it over.
Should be a day that suits someone like Lennon Marlin, big contested beast, really strong at the contest, big frame. Should be a day where he can certainly exert his influence and does appear to be kind of playing the secondary ruck role to give Siggins a spell, who's up against Owens, who's probably done better than Green so far in the ruck contest. Won this one down, fell out the back for Harper. He's corralled by Marlin. Just pulled his way through it nicely, sent it wide for Rainbird. Rainbird looks up, didn't see anything he liked immediately, so just plays a little 1-2, but the two didn't come back to him. Instead, it missed Norton. They've kept a hold of it, though, the Roos. They're hacking inside 50 now. Cleared away, though. The Bombers by hands get into trouble there. Hooker's caught. And it's going to be a high one. Just getting away with it is Fletcher Hooker. So he'll look to reload out of defence here. He opts to switch it out and finds William Poland. Chief interceptors. This Bombers set up. Good work. Intercepting is half back, getting into some trouble there. Good pressure from Harry Fisher. Got Stanley in a bit of trouble there. Hamill just eluding Fisher, but a heavy deck just sits there for him. Sweeps it over the top, just hung in the air for a moment for Barwick, who's claimed. Holding the footy, and they've been red hot on that one early on, Gilly.
Have indeed. The pocket rocket, Dylan Fife. Terrific little tackle there as he steers the ball inboard. Finds Williams. So Williams down the wing, looking to a bunch of numbers, flying over the top there for a couple of roos. I think it was Baker Smith brought it to ground. Tilly shakes off one tackle and a second. Ball inside is terrific. A sizzler into the arms of Sutton, and there's a whistle. Nothing happening there, or is there? So the ball's going to come forward. So I don't know what exactly went on there. Might have been a hole, but again, it's to the benefit of Blackburn.
He's in the middle of everything at the moment, and he's still going to go back outside 50.
So Blackburn, he might just go to full back here.
He's just retreating further and further.
A line, his run up is bigger than Shoaib Akhtar. There's no question about it. And how's the delivery? Raises it to the heavens. Blackburn for his third of the first term here at Skybus Oval. Puts it through and lets them know about it. They chip back again, the Bombers, and this game keeps on giving.
Yeah, Luke Swinton has just put him to the deck. It's not going to lead to another one, is it? The scrap continues. Blackburn is doing everything he can to sell that he should get another free kick. He is absolutely living rent-free inside their heads at the moment, is Blackburn. Got the free kick off the ball. He's got a goal for a 50, now a goal from a free kick. And just getting right under their skins, it would seem.
It would sting a little bit more for a lot of those Clarence Roos that played alongside Blackburn in the red and white to have him coming back to haunt them like this. There's certainly none of that, you know, no celebrating against the old team that you see a little bit in international soccer and the like. Quite the opposite from Michael Blackburn.
And I'm all for it. Get a goal, enjoy it, I reckon. You're on a new team now. Siggins won it down, trying to take it down the middle. Baxter Norton, claimed by Dylan Fife. That time was allowed to go by the umpire. Now it's Norton again. His kick was smothered. Nice work there by Tiley. Swung it over the top to Sutton. Just opts to stand it up. Looking for that man again. He's everywhere, Michael Blackburn. It's the Michael Blackburn showing, quarter number one at the tip. He can go back for his fourth and try and put his side back in the lead.
Well, we're going to get a lot of looks at this run-up if it keeps on going this way. They've got to make it change, Clarence, I think. I'm not sure how they're dealing with Blackburn, but not well's the answer at the moment. 3 goals, as we've just had a brief pause in pitches there. Made my heart flutter for a second, and Blackburn starts his approach.
So Blackburn driving it in. He didn't wheel off immediately this time. It was the giveaway. The spoil came, didn't make the distance. Claimed there was Keegan Wiley. A strong tackle and a ball up inside the forward pocket.
Oh, what a buzzkill that is.
Come on, mate.
But he's been great, Michael Blackburn, no question about it, as we're up again. Another ruck contest, an unlikely ruckman in Santilli, it has to be said, as it slips out the back. Good hands from Howlett. Well done by Preshaw. Manufactures a kick. It'll be hands in the back from Owen on Siggin, so it'll come back in with a little bit of GST. Here comes Siggin, wheels around, long and strong with a kick. Blackburn there, punched away from him. Tilly claims it and runs it over the boundary line. 27 and change gone here in this first term. Not a lot left in it and not a lot on the scoreboard. 1 point the advantage thus far to the Roos. Up again, Richmond this time, finger tipping, soccering along now with Holmes. He gets it back. Kicking along was Beerley. He found his target in Barwick. So Barwick from the bullseye swings it out to the broadcast wing. Does well to find Borsboom. He just gets it along. Howlett now on hands and knees, back for Borsboom, swings a kick. It's touched off the boot by the looks. Preshaw gets his handball out to Howlett. Little pokey ball. Barwick drops it at the crucial moment. Good enough to stand up and keep it moving. Franklin bustles in. Rainbird deals with him. They all climb on top. There'll be a stoppage. Defensive 50 for the Bombers. Again, we saw a little glimpse of that free-flowing Clarence footy.
Yeah, they're really troubling them when they move the ball with speed. And that will be the last action for the quarter as Rainbird won it down and put it through. It won't matter. Quarter time here, a gripping first quarter at the tip. It's Clarence who holds sway by a point. There's been plenty in it. Blackburn's been lining it up at one end. The Bombers have probably had the majority of the player up there into the ground, but a scintillating kind of slingshot approach from Clarence is giving him some real issues. It's been a fascinating contrast of styles here, and it's lending itself to a cracking game so far, Dougie.
Terrific game of footy. It was a cagey old start to it, and Clarence probably had the better of the early stages, and then, as you say, the ball sort of was more or less spending 80% of the time down Lauderdale's end, but when Clarence got it, they moved with such haste and just looked really dangerous over the back. So, yeah, fascinating clash of styles. One team that's pretty happy in the trenches with the contested ball and moving it more methodically. The other that likes to run and gun, and it's great to watch. And the player of the first term, no question, Michael Blackburn.
Absolutely, 3 goals, almost out of fourth. He's been at the centre of absolutely everything. And I suspect Clarence are going to have to come up with a new matchup for him there. They're going to have to do something. And probably stop reacting to him a little bit too, because it did seem like he just got in their heads a bit as that quarter wore on.
Yeah, he baited them somewhat, didn't he? He was, you'd be saying at the first huddle, let's just leave that alone, let him go about his business, because 3 goals, he's got the bragging rights to this point. However, the Roos do have the lead. They lead it by 1 point.
They do. We'll take a quick breather here on the Daily Potato Company live stream. We'll be back in a few minutes with quarter number 2.
You only had to ask him. You get out of the car, you wouldn't ask some cunt to move, would you?
I love it, mate. As soon as your boyfriend gets some used up to get the ground, I'll walk fired up. Fucking, I can't do that to your boyfriend, boy. Where is he?
But the same, here he comes back, but he won't get that parking spot. I know he's going to park there.
Well, you still have to do it.
Well, what? Park up on the bank. You can see both ends of the goal.
I bloody slow on that ticket box over there in the cab in, boy.
I was impressed.
I work this morning too on my part.
Yeah.
I work like, where did you? You get 3 tickets. I got some wood.
Huh? Who? We done that. Really? That was none on them. That was about 6 days and they started on the gate. They got on their way.
Well, you could have gone out and got a
Here he goes back again, isn't he? No, that's... He came back in, mate.
Okay, well, mate, you got him on up, boy.
You used to see both ends of the ground. That's what you can check it. You get in the tank. Good, is that? You done us to stand it.
Oh yeah, I thought I'm a bit nervous being up here. Have a look at this. You're a hot microphone too.
Microphone going.
Put that.
He's the one.
John Belch is his name. Put that on prime time.
I don't think so.
Now,
There's something wrong with your gastrointestinal.
get up there.
Crossway.
Get up there and cook your ass out the.
You're not drinking it, are you?
Get up there and cook your ass out the window. You can do as a bell.
Well, he's got the mic going up there, and he's got the camera right on you now. He's got the Jack Jumper hat on. My God,
Something wrong with you,
I thought
mate.
the grandstand was
I don't
coming
reckon you're going to live much longer. Oh. I was heading for the bunker. I thought Russia was here.
I thought the Iraqis are raided.
Yeah, I thought Russia. I thought Russia had sent a tank out.
Yeah. Backed up by the Iraqis. Listen.
I'll tell you what, mate, if I could do that, I'd be really proud.
Look here. The microphone's going, the camera's going, the Jack Jumper hasn't been spotted.
I'd be so proud.
I reckon that bloke up there went under the table. He's fucking. He's got to come home. He's going home with you.
We'll go for lunch, make sure I don't eat.
I've seen him worse than that.
Did
Did you go here for breakfast?
Nah. How could you?
You blokes blame me for everything.
Well, only because you do it.
I'd be proud over that.
I think when you order, but you order have a crowd.
I think it's just for you.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I came and stood here, mate.
Welcome back to the tip for the second quarter of an arm wrestle of a game so far. It's one side in arrears by a point. Lauderdale 3-2-20, trailing Clarence 3-3-21. A gripping game here, and looking at the scores around the grounds, Damien, this game might be even more important. Not sure what the Wind's doing up at Windsor Park, but the Northern Bombers holding a surprise 4-goal lead over Launceston up there at quarter time.
Yeah, fascinating. I have just peeked over to our master in command here in Ash Wilkes' computer, and can see Launceston have kicked 2 goals so far. So somewhat wind assisted, but still, in terms of the backdrop for this game, we spoke about off the top how important this one is, and you never know if something can happen up there at Windsor Park. It could prove to be even more important. So yeah, with a point in it at quarter time, we're just set up for what should be a sensational day of footy. It's what you hope when you come along to games like this, that this is what you get. You hype them up, you talk about it. Rarely do they actually deliver. So far it has. So we've got Owen and Siggins in the middle. They'd like to get more of Siggins' dominance in the ruck. So we're underway. Quarter number 2, Skybus Oval. Dave Potato live stream. Siggins helps himself out of the ruck. Bouncing ball. Baker Smith couldn't gather as Fletcher Hooker claimed in an immediate tackle. So it'll be forward half stoppage in the blink of an eye to start this second stanza. Wrestling for position. Siggins got it down. Kick didn't go too far. Holmes' handball blocked by Tilly. Just slipping by Walsh. She dives in to try and get it. Rainbird's soccer steers it towards Sutton. Little dance step. Drops it off to Marlin. Now with Walsh. A floaty ball will be easily cut off by Smith.
Baker Smith deep in defence. Just pokes a short one to Rainbird. Was prolific in quarter number 1 through the middle for the Roos. The Looks up, doesn't see anything he likes down the line, so he opts to try and execute the switch instead, and they do that and get out to the opposite flank. Patient from the back. Oh, nicely smothered there. Some great work from Luke Patton. Didn't win the ball back in the end. Unfortunately, went the other way. Slips out the back now. Sam Tilley flicked it over the top, looking for Williams. Williams bends it back around the corner inside. Hitting up at it was the protagonist, really, in the first quarter. And Michael Blackburn.
He's into it again.
He's into it once more. Scrapping away there with Howard. More fireworks to come here this afternoon, you suspect, from Blackburn. Absolutely at the middle of everything. So gets the better of Siggins this time. A little high one there. I think it's going to go the way of the Roos.
So it'll be a Baxter Norton ball. Just clipped high. So look to bring the Roos out of defence. Gets the handball over to Proprotny, hit now. He's drawn a crowd. Gets it back to Norton and says, you fixed the problem you created. Terrific grab taken there by Ollie Preshaw. It's going to be 50. Movement on the mark. It was like the old stuck in the mud back in primary school, trying to feign that he hadn't moved, and he just moved a little bit too much. So Ollie Preshaw marches his way inside 50.
Yes, very relevant there. Stuck in the mud indeed, given the state of the ground. But these 50-metre penalties for something so inconsequential, they can pay a massive penalty and a chance here for the Roos.
So Preshaw to extend the lead for the Roos and get the first of the second term. From about 45, he sends his kick on the way. It never really looked like it. Out the left-hand side, minor score. Clarence lead it by 2 points.
2 points. The margin as this one's chipped short to Josh McGuinness. McGuinness looks up. See anything immediately, so kicks one up in the direction of Luke Patton. Had to be strong under pressure, and he was. Gave it back to McGuinness, trying to provide some dash off half-back. Couple of handballs and he wheels to halfway. Nice work there from McGuinness. A one-on-one. It's that man again. It's Blackburn running the show as McGuinness just cut through the middle of the ground.
That's champagne footy and quintessential Josh McGuinness footy, where he dashes out like that and the running bounces and the handball receives. It's what you like to see when you turn up to the tip. Terrific footballer for a long time now, Josh McGuinness.
So valuable when a key position player can offer that kind of drive, not just the smalls. Makes him such a weapon. So another chance for the man who's done pretty much all the scoring for his side here. He's kicked all 3 of their goals. Has he got a 4th here, Blackburn? No, the wind takes a hold of it, just pulls up, holds up, trying to burrow through his Tilly. And he's taken out over the line. He's pinged for holding the ball. The umpire said, no, you just clean drop that. And he gives the free kick the way of the Roos. He did clean drop it. I thought he might have been over the line when he did it. But there'll be a free kick going the way of Clarence. A clear defensive 50 here to the contest. Fell there to Harry Richmond. He sends them inside 50 once more. Wiley was great in corner number 1. Handball back inside to Blackburn. Bird pressuring him. The Roos win it back. Wiley's kick was smothered. Slightly high-looking tackle there. Is it going to be a free kick? The way of Marlon at Wheeler, who bounded off, but he had to go back behind the mark, and the umpire sends him back. Then, hang on a section.
I'm not sure what he did there.
He's played on and thrown it up in the air, and then played it off as if it's an error, and I'll go back behind the mark.
I think he got lucky because the whistle came and said, hey, not too fast, but...
Jeez, very lucky. Just lost handling on it. His kick wasn't particularly good anyway. The mark's taken by Liam Howard.
Pretty ordinary, really, as it's steered and holds up. Invites in Baker Smith. Had some nice moments, young Smith. Off to Rainbird, as has he. Inside. It was really well done by Walsh on Norton and lets him know about it afterwards. The ball keeps moving for Clarence. Harper takes a little bouncing slips catch, says the umpire, and it'll be a stoppage. I thought he might have got there in time, to be honest.
I thought he had.
So Lux will go at it once more. It's Richmond for the Bombers. Gets it down for Christensen. He's claiming a tackle, squeezes the ball out. Pretty smartly done by Bryce Walsh. gets it off. Good tackle by Proprotny. Keeps it moving, possibly in the back in all that, but the umpire blindsided. Burrowing in at the bottom for the Bombers was young Fergus Kenny. Works hard, young Kenny. Green wins this one down. Christensen immediately inside forward 50. Blackburn the target, gets hands to it, gathers his own footy, drops it off. Tilly burrows in. He might have caught one high. He did. Clarence not happy about it. But young Sam Tilly will line up.
Yeah, Keegan Wiley was just trying to stop him getting the handball away, so locked the arm, but in the process just slipped up over the shoulder. There's a minor one, but it was high, so opportunity here for Tilly.
Quality footballer, Sam Tilly. Young player. To give him a world of confidence as he marches on in to put Lauderdale back in front in the second term here at Skybus Oval. Wide to the right once more. A minor score. 1 point the lead to Clarence. Eastern Shore rivals battling it out. The virtual elimination final. You love to see it, Andrew Cooling.
It's delivered so far as Ballsboom clears defensive 50, kicks to a contest. Pretty well was Garland. He was outnumbered but not outgunned. Handball back in dispute, burrowing it after that was Walsh. Spilled out to Christensen, got his kick away, and he finds a marking target at half forward. That man's Fletcher Hooker. Might be just beyond him here. The wind not making goal kicking easy from this end. He'll just opt to stand it up to the square instead. Let the big fellas get to work. Unfortunately for him, it was the Clarence big man, Sam Green, who did the best work. He drops back and takes a nice intercept mark. So Sam Green beaten in the contest by Siggins early on, but he's got the athleticism and aerobic capacity to maybe get Siggins around the ground. That one just staying in. Chip kick worked it to Rainbird. And once again, keen to get the speed of ball movement and chain of handballs. They bounce off half back now to the wing with Preshaw. Preshaw sends them towards half forward. It was a rubbish kick though. And Jacques Mowick no chance. And out of bounds on the full result. McGuinness will take over.
They'll reload through McGuinness, a wobbler. Will find its intended target. I looked at the races there, the Roos. That last kick brought him unstuck as Stanley gets it to McGuinness. We saw some sumptuous play when he was able to connect with the Weber handballs before. What can he do on this occasion? Suki is down the line. Punched down by Green. Off for Norton. Swings a kick inside forward 50. McGuinness chops off. He'll steer it along. Find Broomhall. So Broomhall on the wing. See something free in Richmond. Some rare space. Harry Richmond. He opts down the line further. Blackburn was caught behind. It was well gathered by Tilly. He's caught high. Again, the sharp pickup on a day like today, being able to just one hand scoop it, real asset. Sam Tilly inside forward 50 now. Siggins the target, wrestled out of it, just got a fingertip to it, trickles out the back. Who's there? Is it red or white or red and black? It's red and white, and it's Howlett. Rebounds and reloads and finds the target out there on the far side in Smith.
Showed some good composure there on the last line of defence, Karen Howlett. Roos launch it up towards the wing. Garland presenting up, takes a strong mark. Moving up a long way to try and get himself involved. There's the Roos talisman here. Sends them further afield, up towards the half-forward line. A 3-on-1. Did pretty well, Preshaw, to spoil it, but the numbers always with the Bombers, and they clear it out here now to Sam Tilly, who's been everywhere here in quarter number 2. Really running hot right now. He drives them deep, and Siggins just gets rid of his opponent and takes the mark. Unfortunately for him, though, he infringed. The free kick will go the way of Smith. He chips it short to Green. Green, half-back, drives down the line. Nicely done by Ollie Preshaw. He's very good in the air, Preshaw. Has a nice pair of hands, and he showed that there. Sends it towards a contest. Numbers with the Bombers again, though. Getting rid of his kick was Ned Shaw. Wasn't a great one. Back in dispute, charging through. Preshaw of the Jack variety. Now Sam Green. Little underground handball worked nicely. Couple of handballs to release Norton, who sends them inside 50 once more. Barwick gets the handball away to Garland. Garland gives it to Holmes. Holmes across, and they're working it around here. They found a target. It's nicely done. As Borsboom wheels off. Borsboom, lovely goal that. Tears off inside 50, drives it home, and the Roos out to a 7-point break here. They get the goal to break the arm wrestle at the start of the second.
Yeah, the first goal of the second quarter was a long time coming, 11 and change into the term. And that was a terrific finish on a day where finishing looks tough. Borsboom showed his class. It was a really nice pick up at the shoelaces in all that from Colin Garland, just to keep the play moving and not see it nestled down with a stoppage. And that's where they're at their best, the Roos. We're going to wax lyrical about it, but where they can just keep the ball rolling, they just look very, very hard to stop. They lead it by 7 points. How will the Bombers answer? As we're back in the middle, Siggins tried to deal with Green, who did pretty well in the contest. Gets it onto the outside. There's Cullinan. He runs into all sorts of trouble. Young Cullinan, and the Bombers will waste no time. Walsh brings it forward, not a great kick at all. Green there to cut off. Green now finds a target. Inside 50, the Roos will look. It's Rainbird leading the charge. Preshaw drops it back to him. Rainbird squeezing it inside now. Burrowing in was Holmes, and he'll get himself a free kick.
Give some props to Sam Green behind the ball for Clarence here. He's been beaten in the rugby, starting to make an impact around the ground.
Oh, so it's going the way of Dylan Fife. Geez, they'll breathe a sigh of relief. The Lauderdale faithful. There's almost 2 in a minute for the Roos, and now they can bounce away in the hands of their key performer in Sam Siggins.
The star is Sammy Siggins, and he looks up here and just opts to go for distance, sends it down the line. The spoil came from behind from Blackburn. For a high tackle, wasn't getting it there. Protney, ball up on the wing. Owen comes in for the Roos, up against Siggins. Siggins just takes it out of the contest, slings a kick, gains a few metres, but not a lot else. You Clarence players calling for insufficient intent, but an extraordinarily harsh goal. It's quite often been the order of the day here for the Bombers at the contest. Just hack it forward, gain some yardage. They've had the better of the territory game, but Clarence has been a bit more efficient as Norton just volleys it out of mid-air. Some good yardage there. The hands of Barwick. Oh, taking a little bit too long. That Franklin, he's mauled down from behind by Preshaw. There's a lack of awareness of what was coming the other way there. Chip from Preshaw, a good one. He finds Jacques Barwick, who loads up from 50. But it's offline and only a minor score.
Yeah, he just snuck up on him like a librarian, as Dennis Cometti would say. A really good tackle in the middle of the ground. Lauderdale taking a few punches right now. Oh, that is just exquisite bodywork from Sam Siggins. Just used it to perfection, took a great grab. Kicks on outnumber though. Clarence will take it through Jack Preshaw, shakes off a tackle. Off that left, he kicks for Ollie Preshaw, taps down smartly. Barwick now burrowing in. Ollie Preshaw with a gather. He's got a crowd now to carve his way through, and it'll be a stoppage. Yeah, I just feel like if you're Lauderdale, you're a bit uneasy with where this game is trending. It's off Colin Garland's hands, gathered by Williams, and he's slung in a tackle. Clarence just starting to build some momentum.
Yeah, they've had the better of this quarter, Clarence. There's only been the one goal. They've kicked it, but they've certainly had play more on their terms than in quarter number one, as Garland goes up against Siggins. The stars of the comp going head-to-head there. A little clever kick underground, but turned it over. They go deep inside 50, 3-on-1 in favour of the Bombers. Pushed through for a behind in the end by Ned Shaw, which is probably the preferable result to a stoppage inside 50. Clarence out by 9 points now. McGuinness, can he provide a little bit of drive off half back for them? So that great chance earlier in the quarter as he cut through the middle of the ground. He sends this one the Marlin direction out the back to Siggins, who just burst away from the contest as the big man. It's a one-on-one inside 50, and that one was Michael Blackburn again. He's running the show.
Here he is. He's had about 7 looks at the sticks. Here we go. He'll march back to full back again.
Well, he's had a couple of chances to figure out this wind here, which he struggled with in quarter number 2. It's quite strong. He's going to need to probably aim at the left goalpost here. We'll see if he's learnt from the first 2 attempts. He's certainly got plenty of time to ponder it as he walks in.
Great thing about his run-up, we can fit in a lot of commentary.
So Blackburn, can he get his 4th of the afternoon? He charges in. He's drifting. Will it have the legs? Not quite on the line. The ruckman got there. Siggins bent it back and he found Fletcher Hooker, not 15 though, and he's wrapped up in a tackle there by Howard. So he figured out the win, but he just didn't quite have the distance, Blackburn, on that occasion. He just held.
Jeez, it looked tantalising in the air, didn't it? Siggins, danger on this occasion. Almost for Marlin, squeezed out by the Roos. They get it out of 50 only for a second. Tilly, eyes off the sticks. Over the head of Blackburn, and it'll be Baker Smith. It was touched, so they'll have to get it moving.
I thought he'd taken the mark and stood still, so no harm done there for Baker Smith as Liam Howard changes the point of attack here, goes the switch across to Harry Fisher. Fisher fumbles, picks it up, and then kicks it not so far. It's going to come back as he found Matt Franklin with it. Franklin gave it to Patton. Patton handball over the top, just unable to control though was Broomhall. It's like a bar of soap at the moment, the footy, proving tough for these players to pick up. We'll have another throw in here. Half forward for the Bombers. Goalless in this quarter. It's been a real arm wrestle out there. Clarence probably had the better of the term. Extended their lead ever so slightly. The opposite numbers, Owen and Richmond, against each other here. Franklin was claimed as he took it, and now the Bombers send it towards half forward, or dropping one he might have had there, Keegan Ryan. Read it well, then just left it on the deck, and might lead to a chance for the Bombers as a result. Hooker will send them deep inside 50, and oh, there he was again, picked up by Siggins. Oh, he just did the handball to Blackburn over the top. He went the shot and got it wrong, and a let off there, and a minor score only.
Well, momentum has swung in pretty vicious style back the way of the Bombers. Cracking contest down here at the tip. It's Wiley from full back again. Sends it to a crowded wing. He's off the hands of Ryan, gathered by Rainbird. He's drawn a crowd. The elevator doors closed around him. It'll be a Lauderdale ball again. So Harry Richmond. I feel like his kick's a lot further up the wing, but he pokes this one inside forward 50 off the hands of Blackburn, sniffing it off again. And butters up for a tackle is Blackburn. 3 goals. I reckon he's had maybe 7 genuine shots, and 1 he should have had a shot at. He's been in it all as Siggins taps down. Fife fakes a handball. And whistle against it. It's going to be a Harper free kick. I think pounced on Fife and didn't dispose of it, I think was the call.
Fife a little bit miffed, thought he'd fired out a handball, but this one's set in the middle. Looking there, Wiley picked up by Tilly. Flicked the handball over the top under pressure as Hooker did well to keep a hold of the ball under that pressure. Tiley just a little fumble. He went back in, somehow extracted a kick from that. And there's 2 Clarence players who look just about out cold behind the ball at the moment. Did you catch what happened there, Gilly?
No, it didn't. Doesn't look good though.
Getting back to their feet, but clearly a heavy knock.
He looks pretty wobbly, Keegan Wiley.
Yeah. This afternoon might be done based off of that.
Yeah, and Keegan Ryan is the other. So 2 key players. You never like to see that, Drewy. They look groggy. Hopefully they're okay as Siggins brings it to the floor. Coming through is Christensen. Taken away from him was Preshaw. That's brave stuff off for Cullinan. They run away with it, the Roos. On the outer wing. They'll move it through hands. Over to Preshaw. just brought pressure on themselves a little bit with that handball over the top. In the end, a strange decision by Bryce Loams. So they had the extra, went for the handball, and then all of a sudden they closed in Lauderdale, and now it's ended with Josh McGuinness.
They invited to the danger there, didn't they? So McGuinness can send the Bombers forward once again. Can they find a goal in the back end of this quarter? They've been working their way back on top, but nothing to show for it. Close intercept taken there by Hooker, not quite. Going back in, Franklin. Yeah. Tackle applied. Christensen customarily on the bottom of the packs as he has a little laugh there with Jack Freeshot. Siggins up against Green. Siggins used the body well, won it down, screamed a quick kick forwards. Fist in though, and here is Sam Tilley again. He's had plenty of it. Handball over the top to Christensen. Christensen will send them deep, and Blackburn's got it again. Oh, and he lets Baker Smith know all about it. All about it. Back turned. He just says, "No, I'm giving you a dose all the same." He is the main character of this show here today.
He's so entertaining. You come to the footy and you want characters, and that's what Sticks Blackburn is.
He's done everything but kick a goal here in quarter number 2. This is about his 4th shot for the term. This time the wind shouldn't be an issue distance-wise. He's a little closer to home. Can he go back and cut the margin to 2 for his 4th? The Blackburn show continues. It rolls on. He gets a deserved goal. And the Bombers get some reward for their control of the last 10 minutes. And it's back within 2 points at the tip.
2 points in it. Michael Blackburn, 4 snags. No one else from Lauderdale has troubled the scorers in a major way. He is the man of the moment for the Bombers, and doesn't he know it? He's strutting around like a peacock.
Well, as soon as he took the mark, he just went, "Where are you, Baker Smith? I'm going to let you just know all about how I comprehensively beat you. Don't care if you're not even looking at me and your back's turned. I'll let you know all the same."
He loves it. He loves his footy. He loves his own work a little bit too. And I tell you what, I love what he's bringing to the table today. Skybus Oval as Siggins helps himself out of the ruck again. All you can eat today in the middle for Sam Siggins. Kick forward by Franklin. Richmond almost does well to just get the outstretched arm of Norton. Eventually he mops up. It's with McGuinness being good in this term. Off for Siggins. A bouncing ball not quite gathered by Patton. Out it goes. So a minute ago it was a goal and a bit to Clarence, and it felt like Lauderdale were a bit lucky to be that close, and then all of a sudden it's 2 points Clarence, and it almost feels like Clarence are a bit lucky to be 2 points in front. A good arm wrestle, a good little game of chess down here at the tip as Rainbird weaves his way through. Off for Ryan, so he's back out there, which is good, provided he's all okay. Finds its way out of play. Be interesting to see the health of Wiley. Didn't look great.
The initial look there wasn't overly positive, did have a bit of a wobble, so fingers crossed for him. We'll see him in the second half as this one's kicked out of there. Turned over though. Intercept mark taken, and the Roos a chance for a late entry here. Paprotny looks up. Off to the right, the siren beats them. Unfortunately for Cameron Owen. He might not have taken the mark had the siren not gone, but a short quarter here, quarter number 2. That's because there was only 1 goal in it. It was an absolute grind, a massive arm wrestle. A little bit less of Clarence being able to kind of get out in a free space and freewheel it a bit, but they stepped it up around the ball, had the better of the first 10, 15 minutes of it. Then it was the Bombers who took over, and both teams with 1 goal, so there were 2 goals for the quarter, 1 goal each. Both kind of had 15 minutes in the ascendancy, both got 1 goal from it. As a result, we're pretty much where we were at quarter time. Very little in it. It's Clarence by 2 points.
What a half of footy. A half that well and truly belonged to Michael Blackburn. 4 goals, 3 in the first. Probably could have had 3 in the second. Took a couple of siders, and that's probably one thing I think in that first half. We've got a heavy footy. Parts of the ground are quite muddy. and kicks and set shots for goal aren't quite carrying the distance. So it's going to probably be the team that adapts better and finds those hit-up targets inside forward 50 in the 30, 35 to goal that will find a way this afternoon. But there's not much in this game at all. As you said, there's about 15 minutes each way in that quarter that belonged to either side. Absolutely so entertaining. Some of the better players, I'd be interested in your thoughts, Drew, but we touched on Michael Blackburn. It's been terrific inside forward 50, just such a good target for them. Sam Siggins, the other really notable one for the Bombers on ball. He has dominated. There was one shot for goal from Blackburn that was set up pretty much by Siggins. He just blitzed through off a wing and long booming ball. It's been terrific to watch. And the other one for mine, Josh McGuinness in that quarter, terrific.
Yeah, certainly. For Clarence, before he copped that hit, I thought Keegan Wiley was having a real influence on the game. On a day where it's been so hard to move the football, he's kicking it clean 60 metres, getting him that territory. He's defended well. I think he's been good. Mitch Rainbird, another one who's done some really nice work around the ball for the Roos. Baxter Norton has done a pretty good job on Alan Christensen in the heads-to-head. There's probably the other one. He's negated the influence in that context quite nicely.
And some terrific tackling on either side. Like Jack Preshaw, you know, he just goes to work and he's going to tackle. And him and your Bryce Walsh's that burrowed in hard. But, yeah, it's an arm wrestle as we head to the major break. 2 points in it the way of the Roos. Stay with us for the second half. It is, as we said off the top, basically an elimination final. Whoever loses this one is in trouble to make the finals. So stay with us and enjoy all to come between these Eastern Shore rivals.
He's turned them up. He's fucking turned them up.
Sorry, what's under him?
Well, he probably can't. He fucking jumped back.
Oh, he did. I heard something go back. He said against the bloody wall.
I thought this fuck's never going to stop. You can't be normal and do that.
No,
You can't.
He's a medical mystery.
Fucking, haven't you got something for it?
Yeah, I am. A plug. Yeah, a big plug. Sledgehammer.
He blow that clean through the wall. Make it fake it plays the north. You'd be tortured hard on it. Don't flash. No flash.
Oh, you got me.
Yeah, no flash.
Where's Matthew? Where's he going? Is he? Oh, he's going in a second. Where's he gone? Took him. He said he was not. Where's Matthew going? Just off the bank. You couldn't get up and not be stuck in the mud.
But you're not going to win, is you? No one else.
But he hasn't put anything in.
No. Yeah.
Brett, cheers.
No. Yeah, let him go.
No, just usually this is the main brand I'll do. So when it was good when you guys were in Richmond because you're right next to you, but I don't even know where you guys are. Because I'm up the top. So where do you guys keep?
You know, we used to get by the or where the Clarence would take boxing back. Well, I'm actually the third umpire.
Yeah,
in that little box there.
See, I'm never down there. If I'm ever at a KG final, reasonably close to the coach's boxes. But yeah, when they dish the season out, this is usually the first choice, and Clarence is usually the second.
You'll stand away.
I was at Sanford, I'm in rugby now, so...
Oh yeah, where goes your rugby?
You know where the old church is there, behind the shop, Bennett's Petroleum? It's tucked in there where it gets green.
I was going to say that. How long have you been there?
A couple of years now.
They turned over.
No, I bought it. I split up with the missus a couple of years ago. So we sold it
in your breath.
I've got enough room, like it's not a big house, but the shed's 2/3 the size of the house, so
the shed's
just an extension.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2/3 the size of the actual house.
Oh,
Yeah, in terms of square metres, like the
yeah.
shed's 70 or the house is only 75 square metres. The shed's 60. Yeah.
Well, so you're going on a little man cave gym for
I'm working on it. I don't know, still got time to put it together. The young bloke keeps giving me a time.
We can't even run more but job.
But once the summer hits, I'll have to crack it.
What's that?
Get it set up, tell him there.
Oh, yeah.
put a little gym in the bar, a dartboard, mate.
Oh, the bar and the dartboard, that gym, mate.
You don't call me no favour.
The barbell and dumbbells and some
Oh,
weights.
mate, I've got them there.
Yeah.
But every time I look at them, I'll still make it. Still make it run, like, too much hard runs and stuff.
Yeah, you do. I know it's like yourself.
But,
Yeah.
I haven't been since last November, and I was going to go small today for the news and watch the big shaping last night.
Oh, yeah.
Bugger, I'll just come down.
Fair enough. That's a good idea.
Yeah. You're keeping all right, mate?
Yeah, no, well, thanks, yeah.
Still labouring all right?
Still doing that, yeah. So, trying to get it home, trying to get it home sort of middle of this week, so.
Still up north.
He's getting that way, 60 finishes, so. Brings the end of the season, so.
Trades over. Oh, man, he's he works Saturday mornings up here at TSL. And he works 3 days. He's going to work for a bloke who used to work with our impact doing gates and a lot of stuff. Gets a good pension. Stays out of the
So where you guys, man, where they live?
They're down Central.
So you grew up there?
Yeah, well, yeah, when we started high school, I was just up next to the school, and then we went further down into Rifle Range in grade 8. Yeah, so when I met Dex, we bought 5 acres down in Rifle Range as well and built. I was down there for yeah. But the price of land now, I don't want to be going back there. The price of the suburban block up in Lake is $390,000.
That's before, then when you buy a house in there, you get like 600,000.
Rugby, well, well over 500 for one of the old places. And Player of the Vale, one of the ones that I see listed, their offers over 480 for it's just, since it's awful. Yeah, well, there's 2 shared equity schemes where the government will own 30% stake in your house, but it's a chance to win, isn't it? There's no such thing as on the ball. Things are always going to go up. Look into it, mate. There's some nice places like the Rugby well, just like the houses in Oakland, but right up against the another 5 or 10 years, I'm just getting
Oh, yeah.
expensive houses, but it is why they've got the burn house having that. I'm quite high, I'm going to tell you, right? Oh, it's listen to a bit around.
Oh, yeah, you do get it. You can go on the house in the back, it's typically almost like
It's a street.
pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, no, I said that.
In those places, it's bad street.
Oh, no. No. And what, yeah, it's their own fault. They give it to him.
See, my brother lost some rates. He's got a little bit. He's Chester drive. Nah. Yeah, I don't buy anything of these two before anyway. I ended up landing on one. It wasn't the best house. He goes, yeah, that one's all right. So I bought it. Exactly. Well, if you go a little bit, mate. All right, so it's not.
We started off at under 16s and senior side, then it was under 16s and 17s. And we had boxing and then they went into this fucking something like that. And that's 12 fucking sides. And now this one's the best thing to because you had blokes like Barry Browning and all of them and stuff and the left door bit more to right and the football up and down. Bobby Browning, Bruce Richard. The 75 was going to go down Oxford State. 76 was in Bobby Browning's state.
Oh, good contest, boys.
Those players have come back to Clarence.
That was good old days.
You haven't got the players here that got names and that now to do that.
No. Hamilton.
Pull that two to nine there and sign to the open somewhere.
No, no.
Never heard of it.
No.
They only been playing here for 15 years. Once you went out of school, schools to play football and now it's private schools. Now it's all gone on. Once I went out to high school, I went out to when we first take White, I was from that there's a Reece Jones, Peter Germans, and all these blokes coming over coaching. Whiteman and all these blokes. You see this fucking school take White. They fucking got over after years.
Yeah. Only by the wayside.
What age is that for one of them
Never in a million years. Oh. Let's say where you go. No, you don't have time to work. No, that's right. 20 days later, you do that home anyway. Yeah. That's right. You made a killing in that fucking playing sport. They could have tripled their money. He was a friend. Always paid fucking players down the ring. And mate fucked up by tipping because they thought they were going to win a flag. They haven't won a flag with him. Actually, they played better without him.
This will be the last chance, isn't it?
Yeah. They played better without him.
They do play better without him.
You'll go to Rick. Oh, look at you. He'll go.
Like all week, they're feeling a bit heavy, mate. And I watched the Tour de France and think, shit, they're not.
My reflex started to creep up and I was trying to, you know, I had to stand up before. Very, very.
There, mate.
Who's that? Oh, you should be there. I hate that Brian. Oh, what do you listen to him commentate?
It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, it's the way he commentates, isn't it? Get you listening, get you interested. It's just the way he talks again, you know.
Yeah.
Don't go 45, go forward. Leave the high backs.
I know, he's right. I know. Every time there's an ad or something, he's on.
Push. 1, 2, 3. Good.
I got him in.
Let's get a good start. Let's get a real good start. We're actually still up.
Who did you go to?
So back for the second half here at Skybus Park, and it is a very tight contest. Clarence leading 4-6-30 to Lauderdale 4-28. There was very little separating them on the ladder heading into this one. That's just how the first half has played out. More of the same would be what we're wanting here at Damien Gill, and indicators off the first two quarters is it's going to stay tight throughout.
Yeah, anyone's guess who takes this one home. It looms as such a fascinating second half, and it was a cracking first half. Interesting second term with just the one goal apiece. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to pick it from here. My mind has changed through the break. The Lauderdale, the home side, and the home track, probably look better for longer, but Clarence, their best is better. Who knows? We're about to find out. So they go out and in the ruck. It was down from Franklin, a little socket gathered by Cullinan. Harper farms out the handball. Rainbird almost there for Wiley, so he's back out there. He's okay, which is good. Inboard finds Norton. I reckon he stepped off there, and he did, said the umpire. Makes a problem for Harper, who doesn't quite get a handball out. Sutton back the other way now. Patton off the left boot, inside forward 50. Looks for Blackburn. Punched away from him by Holmes.
A lighthouse for them up forward at the moment, isn't he? Every time they're kicking forwards, they're looking for Blackburn, and why not?
Now, I don't know that we've monitored the matchup close enough, but Holmes on Blackburn does appear different.
Yeah, that's a switch. It was mainly Howard and Fisher in the first half. So the switch has been made, and it had to be made, really. He has just been dominant. Like Baker Smith in a marking contest as well. Was just trying to take the man on there. It was Walsh. He'd stepped out of play, however. So it'll be a throw in. But yeah, they've got to put the clamps on him, because if they can put the clamps on him, they'll go a long way to winning this game. He's been their entire forward line in this game thus far, Blackburn.
He has. He's the only one that's kicked a goal. As it's in again, Siggins. Well done by Green. Gets it down while he swung in a tackle. A good one from young hooker.
The cunt they got under the ground. Oh, Bin. Force of hooking like him every day.
So up it goes again. Siggins down to the floor. Walsh probably offended with the tackle on Beerley. Beerley will get the ball.
So Beerley, deep in defence, has a look around, doesn't see anything he likes immediately, so he'll just kick to a contest down the line and let the big men get to work, and Colin Garland does it nicely. Safe pair of hands shown there from Garland. Now just needs to hold up and wait for some runners to get forwards. One of them is Baxter Norton, looping handball over the top to the big ruck. Owen couldn't quite bring it down. And over the line there. As they'll get a stoppage at half forward, and Garland will charge back deep inside that forward 50 on the target if they can win the clearance. That's an area the Bombers certainly had the edge in the first half. Sam Siggins was a big part of that, but Green's won the first couple of contests here with some nice ruck work there. Christensen from his knees. They handball out to Green, stooping low, got it to Rainbird. Rainbird considers his options and sends them inside 50. Good relieving mark taken by William Poland. He really excels at that side of things. Shipped it in short to Ed Stanley. Considered kick across to Sutton. Patience being shown from the Bombers. Eventually, I think they're going to be forced to go to a contest, however. That's where they head now. Wiley had his name written all over that one, and he takes a strong mark. He looks up. He was onto that trusty right. Just forced wide there, though, by the presence of Tilly. Still used it expertly to Jacques Barwick, and Barwick thinks his way through it, and he finds Rainbird in space.
Good footy. Keegan Wiley, so important to this Clarence setup. You saw it on that occasion. The intercept, but not just the intercept, but what he can do with his peg. Terrific kicker of the football.
Just a lovely user. And it's really stood out in a day like this where people have really struggled with their kicks. He's looked largely unaffected, Keegan Wiley. He's been using it beautifully all day now. Mitch Rainbird has had plenty of it. Can he land the first blow in the second half? Looks pretty good off the boot. Mitchy Rainbird gets the Roos out to an 8-point lead. They draw first blood in quarter number 3 and extend their lead to 5-6-36. The Bombers 4-4-28.
They've been on top to start this third term, no question. Green, terrific work on ball. And, yeah, Rainbird had to go to a pretty handy afternoon thus far. Been busy. It's been a bit of a quirk of the afternoon. We haven't seen Colin Garland one-on-one too much. So much so that I think his matchup is Oscar Shaw, but we haven't sighted them too much in the goal square against each other. So if Clarence can get some of that centre clearance, that could change in this second half as Green again does well, brings it to the floor. Marlon goes to work. In there was Green, who followed up his ruck work. I like the way Green goes about his footy. Often undersized, just workmanlike. Siggins just muscles him off here, the biggest commentary moz you'll ever see as it comes towards Bryce Walsh. He's got some work to do. He'll run out of tarmac as he pleads for a free kick, as he often does. Ricey, the ball will be thrown in front of their home fans there, in front of the club rooms. In it comes. Siggins down for Christensen. He swings a kick in the area of Blackburn, who now has homes for company, and it just feels like a better matchup from the get-go.
Yeah, they need to put the clamps on him. He's got his own gravitational pull of the football towards him at the moment. There's Michael Blackburn. The ball just being sucked in his direction every time they go inside 50. So Siggins up against Green. That one a little shallow on the throw. Green paddled it short. Has Green been pinged for a little grab of the jumper? He has. She's a little soft for mine, that one. But I suppose the umpire said he didn't have possession of the ball and you've grabbed his jumper. It's a big price to pay. And Siggins could really rub it in because Green had started this quarter quite well in the ruck against Siggins. Shallow throw might have brought him undone.
It's a big kick, this.
Now Siggins cut the margin back to 2. Offline, perhaps an element of ball don't lie about that for mine.
Somewhat fortuitous. So it's Wiley now from full back. A little pokey ball into the pocket will find Fisher. So Fisher from the last line. Looks to bring it out of defence. Numbers galore out there as punched down by Shaw. almost for Marlin. Swings a ball inside, nearly cut off hands Wiley, then Callanan. Callanan to Norton, a shimmy and a shake. He just dealt with the opposing runner in Sutton. He finds Ollie Preshaw, who wastes no time. A dicey ball inside. Paprotny good enough to pick it up. Off for Wiley. Wiley spreads it further. Off for Green. Here's Clarence at their best. Inside with this ball. Pass off the shoelaces, picked up by Barwick. Not quite for Norton. Off from Ryan. Barwick again. Inside 50. Looking in the direction of Garland. He's got Poland with him. Going to ground there was Swinton. The ball trickles out and it's almost there for Clarence. Large passages of that were really scintillating to watch.
They just keep attacking, keep going. Even if there's a fumble, there's just a real willingness to move the ball forwards with speed, and has brought them success, so they might as well keep going back to the well on it. Garland got the better of Siggins on this occasion. Off the deck by Ned Shaw, just gains a few more metres out ahead of Broomhall. And they'll have the next stoppage just outside defensive 50. Clarence have started this third term pretty nicely. Colin Garland going to ruck against Siggins once again. Just eluded both the rucks in the end. Shaw wrapped up in a tackle. Dragged underneath, and the umpire says, I'll have it. So, important period of the game, this one. Goals hard to come by this afternoon. Siggins won it down. Rainbird goes in low. He's immediately besieged. Was that in the back? It was. It'll go against Broomhall. So, Rainbird rewarded for going low and hard at the footy. And you can tell by the sheer amount of mud he's got in there. That's been his MO today. He's been underneath packs all afternoon and doing it nicely. That was a great kick. Oh, should have had that one though. Drop mark from Ryan. Rainbird again. Send them inside 50 once more, but this time he's picked out William Poland, who takes the intercept.
Perfect intercept by Poland, an important one. Out to Suki. He looks down the line. Shaw deals with his opponent off the hands of Richmond. It's an interesting effort by McGuinness. Comes back now through Paprotny. Kicking boards good, really good. Finds Swinton.
Swung Swinton forward and gives them the mark here. He's capable at either end, and Clarence really on top here to start the third, and a chance to kick out to 13 points, which would be a game-high lead.
So Swinton to land a big blow in this third term. Clarence's second of the quarter, steers it out to the left. Never came back, so Lauderdale with the let-off.
Yeah, I think maybe the wind's just died down a little from the first half, because those kicks were really being taken a hold and pushed towards that right behind post pretty much every time someone had a shot, quarter number 2, so see why he hung it out there, unfortunately. Didn't draw back enough for him as McGuinness clears defensive 50 up towards the wing.
Jeez, that's a good mark.
Somehow taking the mark there. It was Harry Richmond, not really a day for hit-up centre-half forwards, but he's kept working hard and he takes the mark there. He's a really exciting player, Harry Richmond. Marlin now goes across the ground. The handball forwards by Shaw, and they now swing it inside 50. Just a little too much pepper on it, though. Allowed the intercept to be taken, and Clarence, in their typical manner, want to get things moving quickly. That's just what they do. Up towards Callanan, some good ball use. A couple of kicks and they're up towards the wing. He checks back inside. Now to target in Preshaw. They've just been held up here a little. That one hung out there, committing but didn't get there, and now a chance for Wiley. He'll drive them now towards half forward. A rare errant kick. Still pitched in front of his teammate, though, and they've kept it alive. Kick into the pocket. Pitched just in front. Picked up now by Poland. He clears defensive 50, but he's turned it straight over to Paprotny.
So Paprotny to send them inside forward 50 again, the Roos. In comes the footy, and it's straight out on the full.
The wind's back up.
The breeze, very difficult to assess here at the best of times, particularly this afternoon, as Kenny is found with a short ball. So you can see that forward 50 chopped up somewhat. Pretty muddy underfoot as it goes long, and it's Sam Green almost, and then Richmond gets a timely hand in to force it to ground. So 5-7-37 plays, 4-5-29, 11, almost 12 minutes gone in the third term. This game is up for grabs. Next goal crucial as it's a Lauderdale free kick. Bryce Walsh will take the advantage. Trods along, kicking towards 50, almost for Siggins. Off his hands, gathered by Wiley. Good tackle by Dylan Fife, being a feature of his game this afternoon. The next goal, just so crucial in where this game heads, given it has been a low-scoring affair. So they bring it towards the boundary with a series of tackles.
Yeah, conditions aren't going to get any easier as the ground gets more and more chopped up. So kicking, 4 or 5 goals in the last quarter, it seems pretty unlikely. Every goal almost worth 2 on a day like this. Clarence having the better of the third term. If they get the next one, it'd be a handy little break, as William Poland, this is what he's so good at, just taking those intercept marks. One of the very best in the league at that. So good at reading the flight of the ball, peeling off his opponent. And he can get them moving forwards here as they'll swing it towards half forward, getting a timely hand in, then completing the mark was Harry Fisher. Did that nicely. Back into the corridor. It's been a real focus of the Roos all afternoon. Those diagonals back inside and then charge through the middle of the park. That's what they want to do. Can they find a marking target? No, it just hung up in the breeze. And McGuinness was parked back there. Or Shaw, rather, who chipped it short to Sutton. Sutton plays on, sends it wide, finds Suki. Suki at half back, didn't see anything he liked. Considers retreating back to Poland. In the end, just try and kick it down the line. Delayed his kick, got hit as he delivered it. Wiley was spoiled by Fisher in the end there as the two Clarence boys flew for it. Fisher does well to get his kick away in heavy traffic. Body on the line from Stanley. Christensen comes charging through. He got it to McGuinness. Sends it across, but his kick couldn't find Fergus. Kenny back in dispute now. Harper, the Roos captain, he's claimed by Kenny and going nowhere. And we'll have another stoppage. Round about centre of the ground.
It's rare you see an error like that from Josh McGuinness. They looked away as Owen back in the ruck, down for Preshaw, almost for Harper, loses his footing. And get a free kick as Richmond came clamouring in. A warrior for this footy club for a long period of time now, Jared Harper. Pokey little ball, find Owen. He'll give it back. Harper down the far wing as sun beams down here at Skybus Oval. Geez, that's a good effort in mid-air. Little slips catch by Sam Green. It looked for all money out in the full, I think it is, but geez, he did not die wondering.
Great effort, great read. Unfortunately, just ran out of real estate.
His legs in the air and his arms in the air, and he somehow gathered. Not to be, though. It'll be Will Poland again. Poland down the line. Pack will form. Off hands. Almost for Franklin. He muscled off Preshaw. On hands and knees now he goes to win it. And he's been pinned. Oh, it's a cruel game at times, this one, Drewster, as it's Baxter Norton ball.
It is. I can see why the umpire was lining up to ping him, though. He was motionless, didn't make the attempt, or at least fake it as this one's driven inside the 50. Garland pushed underneath the football there, and the umpire spotted it. It was pretty blatant, and Garland, who hasn't had a huge influence, he can go back for his second of the afternoon and kick away to a 14-point lead if he kicks truly.
Oh, it's dangerous, dangerous signs here for Lauderdale. Clarence have climbed on top, much like we saw at the start of the second quarter. They can put it on the board. That's where it really lands hammer blows.
Goal kicking's been tough for everyone today, but a very good exponent of it is Colin Garland. And again, just allowing too much for the wind on that occasion, and they've let them off the hook a little here in the third quarter, Clarence. 2 misses from pretty good goal-scoring chances. 9 points to lead, probably should be more.
Definitely should be more, and now it's on Lauderdale to respond as Stanley brings them beyond the arc. Gathered by Ballsboom, claiming a tackle. Clambering in was Hooker. It's going to be a Fife ball for the tackle on Borsburn, so it must have been a legal disposal. Fife, as I said, a feature of his game today is that tackling. Looks inside. The target being Hooker, slips through his fingers, gathered by Harper. Long and strong off his boot. Poland sitting underneath it. Chops off. There's a holding free kick. Will go to Shaw. If you're Lauderdale, you probably would have preferred it in the hands of Poland, but Shaw nonetheless will bring them across the ground and find Stanley. So Stanley back in the Lauderdale side today. Brings them up the wing. Flyers come and Richmond somehow took it. The nest of players. Inside, little pokey ball to Franklin. Franklin kicks, looking for Hooker. Hooker did well, waste no time. Wheels off inside forward 50. Kick looking for Siggins. Doesn't quite claim in the mark. Coming in with a sliding lunge was guess who? Blackburn. He can't stay out of the game for too long. This one he couldn't poke through though. A minor score and a wily ball.
He's making things happen, is Michael Blackburn. It would have been fitting if he had slid in and fired that one home. Still, his team's only goal kicker today, so Clarence moved the ball nicely up to the wing. They've certainly had the easier time transitioning out of defence this afternoon. They'll have come unstuck a little more often. Poland going to back with the flight courageously. Just doing a great job breaking up the play. Handball across to Christensen. He'll retreat to go forwards. Had McGuinness in space back there. Gets the sun out of his eyes and he finds an option. Wasn't a great one, made to work for it. Hooker did well under pressure from behind from Beerley. It was well done by Fletcher. Hooker was sold down the river a little there by Josh McGuinness. Hooker doesn't make the sweetest contact with that kick, but it works out nicely. This man really growing into the contest, Harry Richmond. He's probably taken full marks on the wing in the last 10 minutes or so. Pretty quiet in the first half, but starting to have a profound influence here. He drives them inside 50. It always favoured Wiley, though. Takes a really good intercept mark. Speaking of influence on the contest, there have been few more influential than this man.
He's been huge, Keegan Wiley. He brings him out of defence, using that lovely leg. But Harry Richmond again sprung to life out of absolutely nowhere in this term. That kick asks a little bit. Intended target. So kicking towards McGuinness now. Would like to get his dash into the game a bit more. Drops it off for Tilly, who's terrific in the second term. Kicking along towards 50. Chopped off again. They've been good back there, Clarence. Paprotny this time, the interceptor. Just had the answers when required. So Paprotny looks for Preshaw of the Ollie variety. Just takes it inside the line. There's a whistle, so 50 metres. Must have been movement on the mark from Stanley. He's not chuffed about things. So we saw Preshaw have a shot courtesy of a free kick. Almost the exact same scenario, albeit a little closer. Umpire wants Preshaw to have another look at things. Switches on if he does opt that way, Ollie Preshaw. He'll go deeper with his kick. Long in the direction of the Flyers. Rainbird! He was the only one that got meaningful contact on it. He brings it down, and Rainbird will line up for his second of the third term.
He's competed hard all day. Not one you'd probably expect to bob up for a kick to the top of the goal square. You'd probably expect more Garland, but this guy's been fantastic today, Mitch Rainbird.
So Rainbird to extend the advantage for Clarence. A low-scoring game. Goals like these are like gold, and Rainbird sends it through. A hammer blow for the Roos. His second of the third quarter, and he's proving to maybe be a match winner.
Well, it's going to be another short quarter. The first one was only 24.5 minutes, and this one we've ticked into red time. There's only been 2 goals. They've both gone the way of the Roos. They've had a really good quarter here, and it was important, I think, they got that second goal just to create a bit of separation on the scoreboard. They should be further ahead, really. They've dominated this quarter, and Lauderdale in a bit of trouble here. They're going to need to, at the very least, not concede another one before three-quarter time, or it's going to be a mountain to climb in the last for them. So a massive last couple of minutes of the quarter coming up here for the home side. Clarence have really risen in this third term. have had the better of play. A delay here while we wait for the ball to get back to the middle.
I think the only thing on the side of Lauderdale is because it's a low-scoring game, the advantage isn't out of control if they can flick a switch, but it's just proven so hard throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, slight wind advantage maybe to that end too. Seems to be getting dragged to that pocket of the ground a little. I don't think it's significant, but you know, they've got to find something to cling to here. But they need to finish the quarter strong, and here's a man who can do it, Siggins. His kick went straight up in the air though. Fisted down by Preshaw. Christensen goes in, he collects it. He's handball to Fife. Sharp stuff there from the Bombers. They work it over the top. A chance for Fergus Kenny. He dishes it over the top. He worked it to Patton. Patton opted to just chip it into the pocket rather than shoot it. Leonard Marlin's been quiet. Handball back to Patton. Slung off his kick. Impacted it too. Straight to Green. Green did well. Got the handball across, and the Roos are out of danger here through Callanan. He'll drive them towards half forward, but that's a great mark from Ned Shaw. Back with the flight. Took it nicely. Chipped it inside to Stanley. The Bombers looking to move it with purpose. They know they need to strike here before the end of the turn. Chip kick to Sutton. Sutton looks up. Kicks towards a one-on-one in Richmond. Just going over the top of it was McGuinness, and the Roos should be able to bounce off half back here through Preshaw. Through the middle of the ground, he drives them. Oh, dropping one he should have had there. They kept a hold of it nicely, though. Back to Jack Callanan. Callanan has a bounce, if you don't mind. Drives them deep inside 50 now. It's a 2-on-1 in favour of the Bombers, but the ones come away with it. Preshaw, can he gather? He can. He, in turn, was taken in the tackle, though. And the numbers win out for the Bombers as Poland clears the area. Sutton the target. And he's spoiled out a play for a throw-in.
Cracking passage of play, that one. Clarence on top in this ball game. They lead at 14 points to the good. Bombers with the work to do as we tick close to 24 minutes in the third quarter. Siggins helps himself. The kick goes nowhere though as it's punched inside forward 50 for the Roos. Franklin gets it out of there. A wrestle between Christensen and Harper. It just falls to Christensen. He swats it over the top. Kenny couldn't quite gather. Slips out the back. Howlett now. He's too hot with the handball. Now with Walsh. Walsh back from Siggins. Into trouble. Gets his handball away. Burrowing in there was Marlin. Marlin off. Now with McGuinness. Off to Walsh. Was unsure what to do. Marlin claimed in a great tackle by Preshaw. Unrewarded. Really good tackle from Jack Preshaw, and his teammates let him know. They might have been away there, the Bombers, if he could have got a kick away there, Leonard Marlin. Siggins, again, we watch with interest what he does from this one. Little handball from Franklin. Doesn't get it too far with a kick. Punched away, a bouncing ball, hard to gather. Norton, little pokey ball. Just gets some distance. Howlett looks to shrug off Christensen. The swing worked for him. Green now to Owen. Owen, good hands from the big man. Out now for Norton. Norton, pokey ball. Barwick couldn't quite gather. Over the back now for Swinton. He looks to bound towards goal and brought unstuck by a terrific tackle from Ned Shaw.
Goal saver, that one. And 50.
Bit of time wasting somewhat from young Swinton.
Yeah, you can see what he was doing, although that might be negated now by 50 metres. In the end, the siren sounds, and it's a 14-point lead for the Roos at three-quarter time. They kicked the only 2 goals of the quarter. It's been an arm wrestle all afternoon, and they are in the box seat from here. Going to be very hard for the Bombers to overhaul this deficit. You'd think 1 goal in the final term could almost be enough for the Roos. It's been that sort of a day. Who knows, it might break open. But through 3 quarters, we've had a terrific contest here. And as we turn for the final change, it's the visitors' Clarence in this massive round 16 clash with a 14-point break.
And that's the question as we head into this final change. Is it enough, Andrew Cooling? 14 points. Is it enough? 2 crucial goals in that turn from Mitch Rainbird, potentially setting them up for what would be a massive win in their season. And that is the question on the lips of everyone, including those in the coach's box, the Lauderdale Bombers. Is this lead enough for the Roos And I guess my question to you, Andrew Cooling, before we do have a brief break is, what do you do if you're Dan Willing in the coach's box and you've got to throw some caution to the wind?
Well, it's a tough one, but I think they almost need to maybe try and adapt Clarence's style a little more, be bold, go through the corridor of the ground. It's been such a hard day. Certainly if Clarence to kick away to a 3-goal lead, you're going to have to roll the dice. A 14-point lead on a day like this, it's worth a lot. I think they're going to need to take the game on. Through the stoppages, they've been pretty good. But that third quarter, Clarence started to get a handle on them in that aspect of the game as well. That'd be the big concern for the coach. That was the area at least they could hang their hats on. And the ball just wasn't getting down there. If you can get the ball in with some speed, let Blackburn get to work.
Yeah, that's it. We saw Blackburn dominant in the first half. He didn't get a look in really outside of one lunging boot in that term. So got to find a way to feed Blackburn, and they may put a winning score on the board. But as we sit here with 1 quarter to go, the game is in Clarence's keeping. Will it stay that way? Well, stay with us and find out, thanks to Daily Potato.
He'll never be the same.
No, he's not. He's not. Cameraman.
Yeah, he's fucking.
It shook the life out of his camera. She started vibrating.
Well, he's got a big hole up on the roof of his head, fucking midget.
You'll see it on the footage. You're watching it show. On the news and all. Wind's coming.
Yeah, feel it, can't you?
I'll be listening to it. They'll be picking up everything we're saying. Oh, it's a snow tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah. Playing tonight. No, I don't reckon.
What?
I hope you're right, but I don't reckon.
What?
I reckon Carlton will beat.
This team haven't scored yet.
Oh, well, that don't surprise me. They're playing tomorrow. Yeah, I hope so. But he's too big to coach now. Yeah. He got the sack at Brisbane. Yeah. Colt. Yeah. He got the sack down here. He's been sacked twice. Yeah, and then he went to Brisbane. Yeah, I think he did. That's when the old players were there. Sure. I'm sure he's been yanked twice. Well, yeah. And then he went to Brisbane, didn't he? He got the chop there. And now he's coaching Carlton. Oh, the plants can get you sacked if they don't want to play for you, he's gone. Oh. Yeah, but they nah, I don't either. I don't reckon. But they're going to be fucking used to come, you know, because they've got too many old players for too long. They're going to be like this. 6 or 7 of them will go at once. And they're buggered then. Yeah, you've got to get them playing now. Yeah, I know. Now, Essendon done the same thing. Kept Judy there too long and kept him playing. And now we're back one. Yeah, they'll lose all them. They'll have 4 or 5 gone. Oh, I don't reckon they'll give him one, will they? He started. But Yeah, my coach had it there, wasn't he? Read on. And that's the silly enough to do it. Yeah, but people can play football, but they can't.
Who's Bossy coach before? Who did Bossy coach before?
Didn't he coach Carlton before he went to Bristol?
He's a no, he went come straight out of playing the coach. He took over from
Oh, I thought he coached the East. I thought he got the chop from both.
So we're back for the final term here. It's Clarence holding sway by 14 points, the home side, in this massive game, shaping the finals picture. Need a response. Can they dig deep, Damien Gill, or will it be the Roos running away with it?
Well, I hope so. I hope we get a nail-biter here, Drewy. That's what I want. I barracked for the contest, so I hope this is left live right to the final moments. But to be honest, the way Clarence played in that third term, if they play that way in the last, it's going to be tough for the Bombers as we're back underway and Sam Siggins just bustles through. It's going to be his ball. A bit perplexed from that, but it's a Sam Siggins ball nonetheless, and he finds Tilly. Now, that's a player that'd like to get into the game more. When they were playing their best footy, Sam Tilly was seeing a lot of it. He pokes this one into the grateful arms of Patton. Patton now, long towards 50. Christensen! Too strong.
Well, this would be a huge start. If they can get the goal inside the first minute from their star man Christensen, that would really give them a lift. Get them right back into this one. A big kick coming up here. It hasn't been an easy end for goal kicking.
So Christensen lines up. This would be the perfect start for the Bombers. Sends his kick sailing, not quite the distance required. Play on, in fact, as it trickles over the boundary line.
It's been tough all day at this end, hasn't it? Balls have been dropping short, holding up in that breeze. Anything from 40 metres out has been a really tough kick.
Very unpredictable. No one has got the journey, have they? As Siggins now takes it out of the ruck, doesn't get it to boot, probably should have been punished. Looks to regather. Green battled well. Oh, Paprotny with a little Elvis hit, shakes him off. Goes along towards 50. Preshaw claims a mark. Well done.
Superb stuff there from the Roos, getting out of defence. A great mark for Paprotny too as they switch it out wide. They've been very good in the transition game all afternoon, have the Roos. This one's just going to elude Barwick. Burrows in after it up against Ned Shaw. Shaw now seeking the line. They pile in and we'll have a ball up forward for Clarence. They've moved the ball a bit more purpose than Lauderdale. They've been slogging away the contest. Green here in the ruck against Richmond. And again, Green conceding a free kick and again looking a little perplexed at the umpire. Harry Richmond takes it, and that one just holds up in the wind and drops well short of Siggins, who was expecting it. Norton now, handball to Wiley. By hands, they try and move it. Little underground number turned over, though. Patton in there for the Bombers, who's just been dumped in the back. So another free kick. Siggins wanted to take the advantage. He's going nowhere, though. Watch for eye of Wiley, so it'll come back to Luke Patton. Patton just chips one short and finds Nat Franklin. Franklin forced to go to a contest here. Wind's been making life difficult on disposing of the ball today. Sends them towards half forward. The intercept mark almost taken. The handball just given away in time. Then it's tumbled out towards the wing, trapping it cleverly there with Stanley. He swings around onto his right foot, sends them towards half forward. Good contest given there by Broomhall. Siggins gets in, slaps it on the boot. It just drifts out towards the line. Baker Smith hesitates a moment, then gets it. Stayed in. It is a heavy old track at the moment as this one's up towards the wing through the hands of Shaw. Tackle applied by Callanan. And another ball up, and conditions getting tougher and tougher out there, Damien.
Big time. Lauderdale need to go quick smart, you sense, if they're going to win this game. There's Siggins in the ruck. Green has fought back in the contest nicely in this second half. Almost for Siggins again. Long with the kick. It's all Rouge. And Wiley gobbles that one up. Kicks long down the line. Finds Green in an acre. Gotta like the way he goes about it. He kicks inboard, finds Preshaw. Preshaw now has the extra over the top. It's Baker Smith. He can assess options. Baker Smith inside forward 50 now. Garland not quite at the floor. He picks it up, drops it off for Howlett. Just loses the ball as he looks to bound away. And it's going against Tilly for a hold. So there was just a moment where it slipped through Howlett's fingers and Tilly had a hold still. And he's been pinged for it.
It's a harsh game sometimes, isn't it, Damien? And yeah, that's the value of sometimes not taking possession when you've been tackled, just bumping it out. Big chance here for Howlett.
Huge chance for Howlett. Kick the first of the day. He'll look to land a big blow in this contest. Out to left as it starts, comes back to perfection. Kieran Howlett lands his second and puts Clarence in a commanding position in this game.
An enormous goal, that one. One might be all they need in this final term. Two would probably put it beyond reach. It's been so tough to score. Lauderdale need to find 4 goals. They've only managed that all afternoon. It's going to be tough now. They're going to have to roll the dice, take some risks, and that obviously opens you up to being scored against the other way. But it was a great kick from Howlett on a day where people have found goal kicking pretty tough. To bend it back from 45, massive blow. First of the final term. Dispiriting too for the Bombers, who you felt probably needed the first one. They've got a mountain to climb now, and the Roos will take this one out of the middle through Owen. Up and under, Sutton read it well, had it but didn't complete the mark, and that's allowed in Borsboon looking for Green. Rainbird down there as well. There's a free kick that's been plucked. Which way is it going? It's going the way of the Bombers. As Preshaw just slipped in behind and slammed it through, but it'll be brought back. William Poland is the man who was infringed in that contest. Held down the fort pretty well today. There's Poland. He drives it through the middle. That's how they're going to have to attack it here, I think, in the final term. They're going wide, just straight through the guts wherever possible. Retreating was Tilly, who's been pretty good today. That was a poor kick, though. Chopped off. Roos getting hold of the ball. Back inside to Harper. Jared Harper. Happy to take some time now, be a little bit more patient now. Run clock wherever possible. Harper sends them deep inside 50. The number's always there, favouring Bombers. Set mark taken nicely by Shaw. Retreats to Stanley.
So Stanley needs to get this moving for the Bombers. A pokey, strange old kick, asks a bit of Shaw. Should have been an easy one to gather. It's a Preshaw ball. And they have not helped themselves there, Lauderdale.
They don't look like a side capable of reeling off 4 goals unanswered, do they?
No, it must be said, this game looks well in Clarence's keeping as Siggins wins it down. Walsh there, gets it on the boot. Long down the line. It's off the fingertips of Swinton. Now here we go, Lauderdale from Hooker. Hooker for Christensen. Christensen inside forward 50. Waste no time. Got himself in a spot of bother. Sutton there to provide support. He was claimed high, I thought. Oh, and the ball was the call. So keeps on going, and it's a Howlett ball. The centre wing, broadcast side. Finds Smith. Been pretty good. Little one over the top to Barwick's out on the full. So commentary mockers there. Williams, a sizzler inside, he's shocking.
Skills from both sides, not great in this final term so far, fair to say. Harper squares this one up. Almost turned it over, but showed good composure in the end. Swinton drives them inside 50. Garland, the target, flew over his head. He wanted it in the back, but I don't think it was there. Pronounced it a little bit. Another stoppage inside 50. And Lauderdale with little margin for error here. Another goal would surely put it beyond doubt for the Roos. They're on the search for it here. Siggins up against Garland. Two big men, Garland with strength, but Siggins came away with it. Handball out, clear and kick just away, but it's picked off there by Owen. Not 15 the call. Unfortunate for the big ruck. And we'll have a stoppage at 50 instead. Then a Marlin there. Siggins came through. Diving on top of it, Rainbird. Picking his pocket was Marlin. Sends a kick out towards Fife. Just pitches there in front of Preshaw. They scrap for it. In the end, it's over the line for a throw-in.
So Clarence, 20 points to the good. Big win in their season if they can bring it home, and you'd have to favour them from here as we tick towards 10 minutes gone in the last. Lauderdale need to get a move on as Siggins tiptoes it towards the boundary line. Well gathered by Walsh. He finds Marlin. Marlin's kick has too much on it, and it'll be Clarence ball through Wiley.
Oh, no. Yeah, because
Been terrific this afternoon, Keegan Wiley.
Oh, they won't play him.
I don't have the benefit of stats, but you just feel like he's had an awful lot of the pill.
Best on ground for mine, Gilly. I think he's been absolutely superb. He's held down that defence, and his distribution has just been vital all day. On a day where people have struggled to hit targets, he's regularly either been gaining 60 metres as Rainbird flew, or he's just been hitting beautiful little 40-metre kicks out all day. He's been superb. And it'll be a big part of why the Roos could well, he's celebrating 4 points very shortly.
Big time, no question about it. Let's see another rock contest, and this is the part of the game that's going to go against Lauderdale here because they can just soak time out of repeat stoppages, Clarence, if they're clever about it. It's going to be a free kick for high for Swinton. It's coming into the game a bit more in the second half. Of course, he's the one that kicked the goal out of nowhere last year to knock off Launceston in an incredibly low-scoring game. That's a nice ball onto the chest of Colin Garland.
You reckon?
Put it into space, and Garland, the big fella, stretching. This won't be a gimme. This would be the knockout blow if he can land it.
Oh, this draws curtains, doesn't it, if he can finish this off. Very, very tricky to make a case for the Lauderdale Bombers. Then it starts to become, can they still play finals? They'll be in an arm wrestle from here as Garland skips to 40, sends his ball on its way, and it is through. And Clarence are on their way to a massive win in their TSL season. This is a huge result for Peter Ryan and the Clarence Football Club.
Yeah, it was an enormous fortnight. This is week one of two big games. They've got the Northern Bombers next week, the Southern Bombers this week. They started the day all level on points, barely a percentage point between them, and they've landed the first blow in their pursuit for finals here. This is a massive result and quite extraordinary, really. If the Bombers do end up missing, this is a team that beat Launceston earlier in the year. For them to miss finals would be truly wild. And look, they're suddenly up against it here. As turning into a little bit of trouble. A high tackle judged there in favour of the Bombers. I suppose they won't lose ground on their northern rivals this week, but shaking perhaps as Bombers v Bombers as Christensen takes a good mark. And this will be a tough kick all day. People have struggled to make the distance from 50. It's why he played on when he took the mark there earlier. Something's happened in the middle here off the ball. Shows the umpire pointing there. So Christensen will keep a hold of the footy by the looks of it.
He's got to send this one deep, doesn't he, and hope for a Siggins fly.
Yeah.
That'll give it to a runner. It's a kick no one's made all day from 50 metres out. All one getting heavy. Alan Christensen, he drives it, he gives it his all, but in the pursuit of distance, it's going to come up short. Siggins did well to keep it in, though. Fighting on there. They'll scrap up. It'll be another stoppage. And they need 5 goals, and they've not got long left.
Yeah, it's even the greatest Lauderdale optimist would be struggling to make a case here as Siggins tries to wrestle for the footy. And again, Green does pretty well. He's had the tall order today of taking on probably the best player in the competition. certainly the most versatile and the toughest matchup. He's done well on large parts of the game to break even as Siggins there down with the hit out. Norton squeezes the kick out, well taken by Sutton. Right on the paint of 50, ahead of the Loans. So where does he head here? After being red hot in the first half, we have not seen Michael Blackburn. He might just steer it in his path. Christensen!
Well, he's been the target for him in the final term. Goes without saying he has to go back, kick this through. And he's not wasting any time.
On the bike is Christensen. He marches on in. And he's missed it. At times the enemy missing is even more so. So Lauderdale aren't going to win this. It's very, very difficult to see it happening.
They've got to kick probably 4 goals and a couple of behinds, and when you're passing up chances like that, you'd have to say they've run their race. As Bealey takes the mark and cops a little afterwards and tells Bryce Walsh perhaps just have a look at the scoreboard as he walks back to his mark, drives this towards the wing. Score came from behind and then just scored out of play by Nicholas Hooker. But yeah, Clarence, you'd think have done enough at this point, barring a spectacular implosion. They're going to win this one. And it's going to be a massive result for their season. Puts them back in the box seat for finals. Still plenty of football left to be played this year, but final head-to-head meeting of the two, it looms as an enormous blow. Siggins has fought hard tackling there, but you mentioned Green moments ago. First quarter really looked like Siggins was going to take this game away from Clarence. He was dominating the ruck contest. He's done really well in quarters 2, 3 and 4 to fight back, and he might have Siggins holding the football here. Umpire's given him an eternity. Said no, ball it up.
Yeah, no, you have to laud the efforts of Sam Green. He's also taken some crucial marks behind the ball as well as it's down from Siggins off to Hooker. Haven't called his name an awful lot as Walsh steers onto the chest of the leading Suki. And there's movement on the mark by Keegan Ryan. I reckon that's the second time we've seen that this afternoon.
It is.
From Keegan Ryan. And we've seen similarly perplexed looks on his face, it must be said. So Silky can put this one through. And any life left in this Lauderdale. I tell you what, he loves it.
He doesn't think they're done.
He thinks they're well alive and cooking. 5-7 plays 8-8. Work still to do for Lauderdale, but it helps, if for nothing else but percentage.
How was that a 50-metre penalty? How'd that go to the goal line when it was given 70 out?
I'm not sure.
It's a very generous 50.
I'm not sure.
It definitely wasn't on the arc of 50. It was awarded, and the man was on the goal line anyway. A glimmer. A glimmer.
Yeah.
A glimmer buried beneath the rocks.
I don't know. More, if you ask Suki, he's up and about as Siggins takes it out of the ruck. Who knows, Andrew Cooling? Funnier things have happened in footy, but it's hard to make a case, especially when Preshaw extracts it out of the middle. Kicks along for his namesake.
I suppose you love to see that from a teammate, not giving up the fight even though it looks done, but geez, he gave it plenty, Suki. You'd think he'd cut it back to 6 points the margin the way the team lifted, but maybe that's what they need. They're going to have to be absolutely perfect from here on out. Well, he kicked 3 goals, maybe a 7-point play here or there. Siggins leads Green to the ball, handball, and just flipped over the top there. WWE style there, as eventually the Bombers will come away with it. Kenny slipped and got himself into trouble. Siggins stooping, somehow extracted a really good handball out there. Just dropping it there was Marlin. And it'll be a throw in. Tough all day. Kind of bounce off half back for the Bombers. Clarence have restricted their ability to do that. Green just dealt with there by Siggins, but he won it down to a Clarence blow. He sends them inside 50. Strong tackle laid there. And holding the ball. I'm not sure he had prior opportunity there. Seemed to be grabbed immediately, but rewarded anyway is Swinton, who's really lifted since going forwards. Had a tough time of it in defence in the first half, but he's had a pretty good influence on things in the second half down forward, and he'll send them deep once more. Can he find a marking target here? spoiled away out into the pocket. Sliding in was Howlett. It's a throw in, but it's the right end of the ground as far as the Roos are concerned.
Time ticking away from this Lauderdale outfit. And it will mean the world to Clarence this in terms of their finals hopes. Punched down by Siggins. Almost there for Hooker. Garland steals it, throws it on the boot. Out on the full. So Shaw has got little time to waste. Goes long down the line. Coming with Siggins through his hands. Baker Smith now off for Howlett. Howlett kicks towards the top of the square. Garland arrives, but sooner it still was Shaw who gives it to Franklin. Franklin for Sutton. Worked under it by Callanan. Illegally, says the umpire.
Yes, a little push there. So the arms extended. Usually the giveaway is Sutton sends them into the middle. And, well, they need to take risks, but that was just a poor kick. Turns it straight over to Keegan Ryan. He goes to Keegan Wiley, who's a booming kick. He loads up, sends it in the Garland direction. Poland dropping back into the space. Gathered by Alomes. He's immediately tackled. The umpire has pinged him as well. Well, they've been consistent, but they've been pretty red hot in holding the ball this afternoon, as this one's chipped short. They'll work it around. Shaw sends him outside 50. Oh, Callanan did well, stretching to get an arm in. Then he's just lingered with a grab there on Sutton, and Sutton will get the free kick for the Bombers. So he's got to go here. We're into red time. They need at least 3. Haven't got time to dawdle off half-back. He kicks in the Richmond direction. Again, over the top was Wiley. He's been imperious today. Strong tackle laid. And perhaps in the back has been blown there, I think, by the umpire. And just delaying as long as possible. Wanting to take off was Walsh, but the umpire says, back behind your mark, son.
Wiley, old veteran, knows what he's doing. So Walsh now inside. Finds Kenny. Got to get a move on. Looks to go back. Switch up to Poland. Poland now. An eager Beaver. Look at him stroll through the middle. Pokey little ball to Marlin. He's a thumping kick. Throws it on the boot. Gets great distance with that one. It just kept on going. Howlett now. Farms out the handball. Green back there doing the hard stuff. Christensen spies it off. Picks it up. High tackle on him. And he's going to have another look at things.
Well, he's got to replace Blackburn as the man making things happen in Lauderdale's forward line. Seems they can only have one at a time. He's been getting all the chances in the final term. Has to go back and kick this.
They can't do it.
And the glimmer will be alive. He's opted to pass instead. What on earth was that decision, Alan Christensen? And the umpires bailed him out and said, you can have it again. Oh, you're a lucky boy, Alan.
There is charity, and then there's that.
Oh, what was he thinking? You won a premiership from a footy side, Alan. I know you can kick it. I know you can kick a goal from 30 outs. Just has to be the man in this situation to take responsibility. A massive kick. If there any chance, he must goal here. Alan Christensen misses. And that surely kills off the last remaining glimmer they had. It's an even 3 goals.
3 even kicks. 22 and change gone. Keegan Wiley from full back.
He's got a mismatch.
He's got a free if he wants it. Goes long, powering ball onto the wing, almost for Preshaw. Poland spied it off. Picking it up was Owen. Covered in a Walsh tackle, and it'll be stoppage, sucking more time out of the clock. Everyone gets to their feet. Siggins taps over the top. Terrific crumb from Sutton. He drops it off. The kick looking towards goal was from Broomhall. I think it's bounced through.
It has.
Somehow Broomhall has made it work. And Lauderdale bring it back to 2 straight kicks.
Yeah, they've kept themselves alive. They've not got a lot of time left. You wouldn't have thought it'd be the longest quarter, but if they can take it out of the middle, suddenly the Clarence defence wilting a little, feeling the pressure, and just not dealt with on the line there, and bounced through for a goal. 12 points the difference. We don't know how long is left. But they've given themselves a slight chance here late on, have the Bombers. Everything must go right from here. 2 goals the difference. We've gone 23 and a half minutes in the final term. Can Siggins get another decisive break? No, it'll be Clarence who take it away through Rainbird. He sends them inside 50 and the mark is taken by Ryan, who immediately plays on. He's got Garland over the top. Well done, Poland, to impact without conceding the free kick. Saves the day. Danger not quite past, though. Stooping for it is Callan. He can't gather the ball. It's stuck between his legs. And the umpire says, I'll have it. They had the chance to land the knockout punch, but didn't. It remains 12 points the difference. They could kill it off here. A behind would be a very handy point. The Bombers can't really afford to concede. Umpire's made a call. He's Bate holding the football. Free kick to the Roos. And this will surely end it. Jacques Barwick will take it and will surely kill the contest.
They've had quite a few looks at killing it off. We called Lauderdale virtually dead 10 minutes ago, I think. This will surely make sure of it.
Had such little margin for error, and that's what's happened here. They got back to 12, but Barwick can go back and seal the game for Clarence with a behind. It'll probably do it anyway.
As funny as it is, that's probably enough. As Hooker comes out of defence, long kick, packed forms. Richmond did well to body, but trickled over the back to Green, who sends it inside forward 50. Tumbling for it was Shaw. Just spying off was Williams. Claiming a high tackle with Stanley. He should get a free kick. He's got no time as we are beyond 25 minutes in the last quarter. Pokes towards Williams. Williams over the top. Overcooked for Tilly. Tilly now looks to gather. Cullen almost there for Patton. Gets the ball out, but it's all red and white. Baker Smith over the top. Barwick now inside forward 50. It's all red and black. Brought down. Preshaw did well, as did Ollie. Ollie over the top to Garland, who have the easiest of goals. Takes the mickey a little bit, does Colin Garland, and gets his third for the afternoon. He hasn't been dominant, but he has put him on the board.
Yeah, he's just been the man finishing off really in the goal scorer. A couple of little Joe the Gooses for him this afternoon. But that will be curtains back out to 19 points, and they've survived a little wobble here at the end. It was never really in too much doubt though. A slight nervy moment, but they've responded and they've killed off and finished this game very professionally. Have the Roos. 19 points to the break. They're going to win this one. An important victory it will be. A match against North Launceston next week. Win that one and they're just about the end of finals. There's strong tackle laid, taken away by Tilly. Roos with it there. Handball eluded Harper, but they work it off hands back to Borsboom. Now chipped up towards the wing. Green slung off it. Going in low was Norton. He too is wrapped up. Bombers bringing the heat. And it's a little late. And the siren surely imminent here now.
Seconds away, you'd think. I think statistically it's going to be interesting post-game. I feel like Baxter Norton has had a lot of the ball as it's kicked long down the line. Richmond wasn't watching the ball, so it'll be a Bryce Alome's kick.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the stats. The tackle numbers are going to be very interesting, but yeah, Norton's been on the bottom of packs all day, hasn't he?
He has, and sometimes not the prettiest, but has just forced it the other way as Clarence win, and you can see them rejoice on the bench. A big victory in their season. Peter Ryan's Clarence Roos continue to march on towards a finals campaign, and it's a massive, massive win for their year and puts them ahead their fierce rivals in Lauderdale.
Yeah, it's a season-defining win for them, puts them in the box seat for finals. Both teams came in here knowing the importance of this one. They're both 7 and 6, just a shred of percentage between them. And Clarence, well, they were good value for their win. Quite frankly, they were the better side for 70% of this match. They fully deserved it. This wasn't a smash and grab. They were the better side. They've stamped themselves today, and Lauderdale, again, whilst we've seen the ceiling with them, they've also got a much lower floor than this Clarence team, and they've just not had the consistency. The Roos have come out there today, put together a four-quarter performance, really, and thoroughly deserve victors.
And in the finish, a host of Roos that you can say had good afternoons. I like the game of young Baker Smith, had some nice moments. Baxter Norton, as I just touched on, terrific at the floor of packs all day. Just worked so hard, whether it's tackling or getting out there. Sam Green, terrific game. Really brought it up to probably the premier player in the comp at this point in time. Keegan Wiley, you've waxed lyrical about, but booming boot out of defence, and he does it in the air. He's just so good, because not only is he good defensively, but he creates offence. There's a bit of noise at the finish of the game here, a bit of excitement. Jared Harper goes about his business. Winners across the board. Rainberg with two huge goals, really, in the standing of the game in the third quarter. The only goals in that quarter. And then some bright sparks across the rest. You know, Callanan did bits and pieces. Preshaw tackled hard. Barwick just popped up here and there. You know, that they all played their part, really. And, of course, Colin Garland, while it probably wasn't his best game, he still walks away with 3 goals. So terrific team performance all round, really, Clarence, and they'd be wrapped with that. And the other one to call out is James Holmes was switched on to Blackburn at half-time, and we did not call Blackburn's name again.
And if you're writing a novel about the first half, he would be the main character, Blackburn. The entire game revolved around him. He was running right. A bit of it was supply. The ball wasn't getting in there nearly as much in the second half, but it wasn't getting in there all that cleanly in the first half, and he was plucking everything too. We didn't see that when it went in the second half, and you've got to give credit to James Holmes for that. Just suddenly took his influence out of the game, and without Blackburn, they didn't really have a whole lot of threat down there.
No, they didn't. Christensen had a few decent looks, but couldn't put them on the board. Yeah, they had some good performance, Lauderdale, namely Blackburn in the first half. I liked the game of Sam Tilley and patches, but again, it was patchy, and that was Lauderdale in a lot of sense. You know, Siggins was pretty good. You got to say his effort across the board. And we hold him to a high account, but he was pretty good. Dylan Fife tackled hard. And then from there, it was moments. Will Poland, probably one of their better performances, and Josh McGuinness had some moments, but a lot of their on-ballers got their hands to the ball, but probably had days to forget as well. Good pressure, but didn't have the influence or the entries inside forward 50 that Coach Dan Willing would have liked.
Yeah, I think the ball use would be something they'll be focusing on this week. I don't think they used the ball particularly well. Quite often they got hands to it first, especially early on in the first half when Siggins was on top in that ruck contest. They didn't really translate that dominance around the stoppages into anything too meaningful. Clarence, they were really good all around the ground in the second half. But the first half, it was that counter-attacking slingshot, clean ball use. Didn't have a heap of it, didn't need it, just used it so much more efficiently. And that's why they've got the win here this afternoon.
A massive win in Clarence's season. We can't overstate that. It's just huge. You look at the table, even on points, virtually even on percentage. So now they slip ahead of the Southern Bombers. Next up, they've got the Northern Bombers. So a couple of big weeks in the season of the Roos, and it all makes for a massive finish to the season. It's been a great afternoon of footy down at Skybus Oval. It's been a pleasure bringing this one to you. Great to be on the mic with you again, Drewster. Good fun.
Always a joy with you, Damien.
And we'll see you next time on the Daily Potato Co live stream. Bye for now.
That'd be a good game. No, Lee, you're not a joke. No. Awful.